What's up, guys? It's your boy, GRC. Got all my lights on. Mic's plugged in. Boom. Guys, it's been an incredible morning. I've been in study mode for about 2 hours. Just not study mode, but just like watching videos, learning stuff, looking at how KNTX's work. And I was just watching his interview with RH, a couple pieces of it. I'm going to share a clip of that. And I'm also going to share his commercial on the Mountain Crypto Advisors for people like my parents, people like my grandparents that actually watch the show and actually don't know much about crypto. I think it might be a small breath of fresh air, if that makes sense, because it's like a little bit more corporate, because they see this crypto shit. They're like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is the scariest thing ever. So guys, if you're watching this, sorry about the language. Dang it. We're going to be just having a freaking good time today. I don't care what the price is doing because it's going to the moon, guys. I don't know what's going on with Hex, but everyone stakes it and nobody sells it. So who the frick cares?
Young folks, you tripping on them motherfucker.
Richard Heart. Richard Heart.
Bought my Hex from the fucking start. .1 every day we mark. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Heart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Heart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the Hex, here's mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pull chains out, now get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died, collect. Hex, I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Heart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Heart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Heart. Richard Heart. Richard Heart. Richard Heart.
Not a way to start your morning, guys.
That is
Sam
a great way to
Stoll,
start.
real quick. Sam Stoll, KNTX, never linked up in any way, shape, or form yet. How you guys
What's
doing?
up? Oh wow! Look at that. He's hiding some guns under there. You get caught in public with those. You're gonna
Yeah!
Well, I'm only 5'9" and I weigh 200 pounds. And I lift every day. So
Well, hey, and if at the end of this, why don't you give us a little about your situation? Maybe we can throw you a tidbit or two. Just see if you stick with it at all. Hey, there's a lot of little things people do that can make a lot of the difference. And that's a really thing me and Sam are good at, that mental health, that daily habit. Like, we're very good at those little freaking things. And like, you find a couple of them out throughout the years that your friends tell you about alpha, and you're like, you get 10 of those in your bag, your life's changed. You have a different year next year. You know what I mean?
I've been doing it for 20 years. So you just pick up like teeny little bits here and there that just help you get to like a marginally better, where you can incorporate that so every day is marginally better for perpetuity, because you just learn that little life hack of thinking about things a little bit differently, and it makes like staying relatively lean all year round easy. It makes being consistent like easy. All the like the things for me are that a lot of people struggle with. I'm not trying to say like I'm cool, but I'm fucking cool, right? And like you just
you wear baggy ass clothes for the next like 6-8 months. We'll train you and just like put you on every drug known to man, and then randomly like
monster comes out,
like meet RG3 at a plane somewhere and just like whip your shirt off, and you're just like yacked out of your mind. He's like, "What the fuck happened to you, bro?" He's like, "Dude, start hanging out with Jim Rat."
awesome.
So there's a couple things I want to talk about today. Oh, sorry. 43 watching, 24 likes. Okay, let me do my little spiel because I'm excited. Okay. I'm excited because every morning I'm excited like this. If you take this,
we call it mannequin in the morning.
I love it. Okay, guys, we have a few things to talk about today, but first I'm going to address the fine people of this community. Guys, there are so many chats. Thank you so much for being in here. Make sure you share my link, but don't share Sam's, because then he might have an advantage on me long.
Sorry about that.
Whoops, button slip.
No, guys, thank you so much for being here. Crypto Freedom, Hex Fan Network, Benny Blanco, Raid. Oh, Wales is raiding us. Hexican Air Raid. Guys, great to see everyone. Drew Step, Melv Tony, Bullish. Bob Laguy's been excited for this one. Bob's
such a
always
good
feeding
dude.
me
Love
that
that
alpha.
dude.
Bob is an awesome dude.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Dude, and he's a no nonsense bullshit kind of guy. Like, I love that about people. I'm not afraid to be told what I'm doing wrong by those who are just straight up, and they're looking out for your best interest most of the time. He's not a troll trying to tell you
Expert.
or trying to tear you down. Exactly right.
He's an expert. And at the end of the day, Bob Laguy's an expert. Every time he opens his mouth, it's critical thinking, it's experience, it's stuff he's already done. He doesn't go chirping his lips about these fantasies of shit he hasn't done yet. He's not that type of guy. He's just not going to be like, oh, this subject I've heard once, maybe a year ago. Let me chime in with like a detailed notion, which I fucking hate people. Ooh, sorry about the language, but I hate people that do that, man. It's like they sit around all day long and someone's like, and I mean, I do it too. I've done this as well throughout my years, but like mentioning like UFC and you watch like one fight and then you want to come in with something that like throws everyone off because you really don't have the insight to be interjecting. And then guys like me who actually look at shit are like, are you dumb as fuck, bro? Like, and it makes me hate everyone, really. But that's not what we're talking about. We were talking about two things when we got started here. One was Mountain Crypto Advisors. Okay. For the people that have no idea what that means, just in a general way, like what is Mountain Crypto Advisors? What's up, Wales Only? How you doing, brother?
Well, Wales is in the house. What's good, Wales? What's up, brother? Hey, did you guys see Maxi on a little bit of a side note on the Maxi thing?
Yes.
It's selling at a discount.
Pull it up, Sam. Deck screener.
When you realize what is actually happening, like, let me show you this real quick. This is right before
KNTX is probably all over this shit.
Oh,
okay.
I don't like to give all the alpha.
Oh, I know. That's what the let's do it.
KNTX, I don't have any liquid to deploy, so I just want to give out stupid amounts of alpha right now until I get my liquid, but I'm still covering it. Our
goal is we're gonna front run all the rich people with actual money, give all their information away for free. We don't have money, so we'll just sit on the other side and wait for them to make the wrong decision.
So, are you guys familiar with the Garyvee model anyway? The Garyvee,
Sam is.
Yeah, the jab, 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 right hook. So you give all the information away for free, you establish yourself as the guru, and then when you do have a product to sell, people will buy from you because you're the guru that everyone understands and trusts because you've given them good information up to that point. Now, the information you're giving has to have value and actually has to be correct. But
so check this out, and I posted this on Twitter just to call myself out, but this is crazy. So this is as of yesterday, but I just checked today on the DEX scanner. It's about the same. What is Hex in terms of inside of Maxi? It represents a yield of 38%. What is the value of the Hedron, the 2x bonus that is inside of Maxi? That represents like a tiny little fraction of a percentage of a bonus, right? There's a liquidity premium. So you get the max pays better in terms of the size, longer pays better, right? But now it's liquid, which means that there's a premium to that because otherwise your shit's locked up. Plus, there's the bonus of those two pieces. So liquidity is actually separate from the bonuses, and this is actually low. So the Maxi token is trading at 23 cents as of yesterday, and a 45% yield. Can you guys see this one right here? So if you look at this, let me make it a little bit smaller so you can see this. This implies that there's a current premium over Hex of 15%. So think about this. There's a yield difference of 33% and only a 15% premium difference. This is crazy. So if you do the math in this implies a price of Maxi of 26.5 cents today at the end of the year of a 33%, a 33
All right, stay right
cents.
there, Sam. Stay right there in your head because I want to show you a comment that I had on something that directly correlates to this. And you guys see why I keep this gorilla around? Okay, you know it's not just the guns. Okay, it's not just the guns. This guy is the spreadsheet master. Like he doesn't go. Me, I love hearing information from him, but he was in this world of spreadsheet in finance. This is what he did. So, so there's so much synergy here. And I love that you don't know about Mountain Crypto Advisors and I kind of do, but I don't know about finance and you do.
So this will be a good conversation. Be a very good conversation.
But I
Well,
want to
disappointment.
run the commercial. I liked the commercial. It was really soothing, to say the least. It was a very soothing commercial.
Well, let's just say a 5-time Emmy award-winning film crew put the.
I was going to say, like, I don't know
so.
much about film, but I wanted to say, like, this feels cool to watch.
Yeah.
So this is your the Mountain Crypto Advisors promo video.
It sure is.
Oh, you guys better press the like button for this.
Yeah,
This is some
smash the like.
Emmy award-winning shit.
Producer Bullish is pulling that up right now, so I'll shill real quick. It'll pop up right while I'm talking. But guys,
Can you
smash this like, share it out, share this out. We're doing this every single day at 11 a.m. When Pulse Chain launches, we're doing a 24-hour live stream. We're having everyone on, and we're going to be making sure everyone's not getting scammed as best as we can in real time.
Diapers and catheters in real time as well.
Yep, we're not using the restroom. We're not moving for the restroom.
Bring your wide mouth Gatorade bottles to the table.
So guys,
Did you say
smash
hi
the
to
like,
Ellen?
support by sharing. Guys, Alan Fizz, my man. This dude's very active, by the way, and he's really always supported me. What a historic stream. KNTX, GRC, and Sam. The man is in one stream. Yeah, this is legendary, guys. Don't you worry. Yes, here we go.
Okay, so let's get into this. Do you want to wait before we play this? KNTX, do you want to give like a quick, like a 10-second preview, or we should do this and then get into it?
Let's go ahead and do this and get into it because it'll probably stimulate more questions than anything else. So
it's.
You ready to have a fun day?
I want more than just my kids to be taken care of. I want my grandkids, my great grandkids taken care of. I want options for my family.
Hi, babe. How's it going?
The crypto community is going to be attacked. We know that. There's so many regulatory bodies that don't understand crypto or just don't like it. You need folks that understand these complexities so you don't step on landmines.
I started looking at my total net worth being 95% in crypto. And I said, okay, we need to figure out some solutions.
Mountain Crypto Advisors is the quarterback for all the planners. What we are doing today is starting to create a defendable position as you fiat off-ramp from crypto.
We have people that come to us with what they think they need, and then we get to give them what they actually need. Not just taxes, but the whole picture of what people with wealth really need to do to protect that wealth going forward.
It's likely the IRS's interpretation is going to change of crypto. The SEC, possibly. Congress, state governments. This plan needs to be adaptable. It needs to be monitored and overseen based on things that are changing outside of your control.
These are the kind of guys that we knew that we could create a brotherhood, a community, and elite membership with.
There's no one within this space doing what we are doing. We don't work with folks that don't value their own plan. I know this works because we've done this for many years outside of the crypto community. What we're doing is bringing a team together that's done complex planning for high net worth folks outside of crypto and applying that to the crypto community in a holistic way. And we're not reinventing the wheel at the end of the day. We're taking things that folks don't know about and retooling them to be applicable to the crypto community.
I know at night, knowing that my wealth is protected, that if anyone tries to sue me, if legislation tries to change things, my wealth is still protected. Aside of anything else that I do from this point going forward, I sleep a lot better at night. The ultimate luxury is peace of mind.
Ooh, that was a powerful commercial. What, I don't even care what you're selling.
I want a commercial.
I'm buying
it. Damn.
No, but
The production
I love
quality
the
of that was.
message. The message actually hits home to me because, like, I love the thought of having a family, a big family, and I love the thought of having that stuff in some way, shape, or form, just so I could focus on my what I'm creating, whatever that is, right? Because I'm just a guy who works on passion. That's it. I can't work on anything else. I never have been able to. So stuff like that is really hard for me to manage sometimes while I pursue my purpose. You know what I mean? But also, you know, there is something to be, it's a large business, and you're not recreating the wheel. We're switching industries, certainly. But it seems like from what I've researched, it seems like you came to the community with tax stuff. I did the same exact thing just a few days ago. So it was really cool actually watching you say this from your past, because you were like, community, what is up with the taxes? Everyone answered you, but nobody knew.
Yep.
You probably I don't even have to read the tweet. I know exactly what they said already. They said a lot of answers that were vague, but none of them actually did it. Because I
said they're going to just not tell the IRS altogether. And I said, good luck with that plan.
I said, when you take $1 million loan off of Aave, what are the implications to route that towards your bank? And everyone said, it's a loan, it's a loan. And I'm like, bullshit. It's a fucking loan.
Good luck justifying that to the IRS.
Thank you. So this is what I'm bringing up right now.
Can you talk about that?
Please.
Yeah, so I'm not a CPA or a tax advisor, but I will tell you this much right now, that when the way that the IRS is looking at things right now, thanks to the 2017 Trump tax plan, is any transfer from one crypto to another is a taxable event, regardless of whether that token you received was in the form of a crypto loan. So, and that's public knowledge. You guys can go look at that for yourself. But going from one digital asset to another is not a like in-kind transaction, like a 1031 exchange from real estate, from one piece of real estate to another. There is a taxable gain at the time that you switch from one token to another. So,
even though you're not selling one token,
but you are though. So
you're not though, because you still have possession of that.
Well, okay, so let's say that you hold it in your wallet. You take this loan token, whatever this loan token may be, and you hold it in your wallet. Okay, so what was the point of taking out the loan? Were you not going to cash it into fiat to buy something with? So
no, what about just people who just continue to use that to like amplify other, opportunity in crypto?
The fallacy I see in that is, why would you hold Aave or some other loan token when you can just hold Hex and it'll appreciate faster? So,
but couldn't you take so XYZ, right? If ETH, right, and then just take a loan against ETH or USDC, right? You put USDC in, you put your USDC in, you pull 50% or whatever on Aave out as Hex, and you just hold both of those.
Well, so again, I'm not a tax professional.
No, yeah, I'm just asking because I'm curious.
Good luck explaining that to the IRS, that you went from one digital asset to another. When the 2017 haunted, I'll have to agree to disagree with you, sir, in the chat there, because the 2017 tax code has been scoured by multiple CPAs that I personally have worked with, and it's a very they're pretty clear that you move from one digital asset to another. If there was a gain from the time that value went from, and now of course there's also a loss as well that could take place. But if you bought your Hex at 10 cents and you took a loan out on it at 15 cents and it went into USDC, it could appear to the right agent that you took a 50% gain on that token before switching it into another digital asset.
So, but if that was the case, then you could also show a 50% loss, right? Because if your logic holds up, if you're like, hey, this is how the IRS wants to interpret this shit, right?
Yes.
Because that's not gonna be the story I tell my account.
Thank you for setting me up for like the best. It's like I paid you to say this question. This is wonderful. As Richard Hart would say.
I'll send you later.
It's like you paid me to say this. So as Blake said in the video, that's why we have created a defensible position. So this is not new. They've done this with their team, with a bunch of billionaires. And those of you who have done estate planning and taxes for billionaires will understand. The rest of you, it's kind of funny to see some of the comments down below from 20-something-year-olds that have never dealt with a billionaire.
That's why we do this here. This is exactly why this moment is occurring. because
Yes.
I'm so sick of it. I'm the only one who admits they're broke in this fucking community. Like, for fuck's sake, guys, if you're on YouTube, like, you're clearly not that rich.
Yes.
Thank you. Like, can we? Can we call a spade a spade? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just the only guy that's
But-
like, I'm 28, I quit my job, I don't give a fuck.
There's also tremendous value in a lot of the people who do comment because they give you insights that you're not aware of and little bits and pieces of information out there. But
Sam loves the comments. He loves them
because when you've been doing this as long as like I've been doing this, like the reason you were able to learn and grow so quickly on shit is because of people in the comments.
Yeah.
Because they share information, DM, reach out.
If they give you
comments.
good information and you update your worldview, absolutely.
And that happens. Like, yes, there's a lot of stuff that is just not super valuable, but there's also a lot of stuff that is super valuable.
I just had to do it with
Hedron.
Hedron.
Yeah.
I just got ripped for the whole Hedron thing because I skipped over it like it was nothing. And then the dude ripped me and he's like, "You're a bitch, dude. Like, you didn't even look into this." And I was like, "You're right." I was like, "My bad."
Yeah.
And then I said, and what did I say? I said, "I'll do a full show on it." Like, my bad.
So I'd like to circle back to that question
Please,
again.
I was just going to ask you that.
Absolutely. So as Blake said in the video, we're creating a defensible position. So here's the deal. If every one of us Hexicans have a different way that we're approaching this, some of you are going to get picked off. Let's just put it that way. You are going to get picked off. The tax man cometh as they get better with chain analysis tools, as they start to see you using tools that they don't like you using, like Tornado Cash and some of these other tools. There's going to be a certain percentage of us that are going to get hit. It's statistically speaking, they're coming for those with wealth. If you make, minimum wage and you don't file your taxes, they're not coming for you. They're not coming to audit your books. But those of you that they're like, hey, it looks like this guy on paper might be worth millions, it's worth their while because they have legal fees to come after you. So when we say creating a defendable position, it's we're able to say, hey, we've got 1,000 MCA clients. And this 1,000 MCA clients, we have looked at the tax code. We have looked at the way that the legislation is being formed. And here's where we think we actually stand within that. And it's not just a phalanx shield of Hexicans doing the same planning and us being able to say, hey, look, 1,000 of us can't be wrong in this tax planning. But also, we're also looking at so there's a lot of things going on in the background. And I don't know if I can give his name, but he's really been detrimental with helping us because it can't come from us. It has to come from a third party. But reaching out to the high-powered law firms that the IRS actually contracts to do the legal work to go after people.
To get a legal opinion?
Yep. So we're getting legal opinions from these places so that we can already say when the IRS comes to get you and you're an MCA client, we can say, no. Sorry, there's a conflict of interest. These guys cannot represent the IRS in tax court because they already represent our interests. So there's a lot of.
It also backs up your story too.
Yep,
because
absolutely.
you're like, I did my due diligence. Like I tried. These people told me it was okay.
Right? It wasn't just a
CPA.
Yeah, it wasn't just a CPA with their opinion. No, we have the same people you guys use to prosecute people saying nope. In this case, that's not the way that this actually works.
Real quick, Street Guru. Yo, it's a great day. Thanks for the content. I've been asking RH to launch after the highest of stakes. You think that's a good play? Absolutely not. I think
I agree. I disagree with that. Yeah.
I think those two things are absolutely uncorrelated. And I think that we should get Pulse Chain as soon as they feel like it's the product that is able to be launched. And I think, by the way, Richard has mentioned he wants it to be launched as soon as able. Because, God, you got to imagine the dude's chomping at the bit. People are coming at him. Well, come on, we're all humans here, right? Like he has an ego just like me and you. He wants to succeed. He wants to show everyone that he is the man that he's put in front of us. And anyone who puts their face out there knows that because that's the play, right? He's putting his face out there. He's going big balls on it. And he's saying, fuck it.
You guys think about this. I haven't said this a lot on some of the other streams, but I'll give you this alpha here now. But so if he launches right now what looks like to be the very bottom of the bear market, this is a great time to give it another year and a half for the bull market to start. We've got a track record, and about 2 years is where we get, or just under 2 years is where we got all the traction for the newest all-time high with Hex. So can you imagine that with Pulse? That man, Pulse was already banging during the bear market, and then all of a sudden the bull market hits, and we've got more users from the get-go than we did with Hex. I see nothing but up and to the right with that potential, with the launch timing of right now.
I do I think that's a very interesting, because if you play it out, okay, so 24 months, 36 months down the road, right? What would be what would be like that ideal PR story? Well, bitches, I launched during a bear market, the hardest time to launch something, and look where we're at now. Like, I think from a PR standpoint, potentially, although
is it the hardest time to launch something? Is it the most opportune time to launch something, Sam?
I think it's most opportune.
I think it's the most opportune,
I think that's
not for most people's point of view.
He's been calling the top of Bitcoin since the day it happened, and he's been saying he was going to launch when, in this time frame, he knew what was up. He was just doing the marketing, but I'm saying, like, we're in the pits of a bear market. There's no news.
Yeah.
There's the most news is that freaking Charles Hoskinson's going live. That's news. It's like there's no news.
With that being said, though, I would love if there was delay. Personally, I love a sell-off in Hacks, and I would love a delay in Pulse Chain. That would be like glorious for me.
Well, it'd be great
then everybody
for us,
everybody shuts the fuck up for a little bit.
Those
longer.
of us who have a long-term view and say accumulate now, absolutely, 100% agree with you on that.
I've been picking up Hacks like I'm a freaking some sort of robot, man. That's all I'm programmed to do right now. It's just like I cannot. Everything in my life, every move I make, for right now, not forever, is, well, you never know, is going to be DCAing into Hex and keeping my monthly bills as low as physically possible until I'm in the financial position where I'm 100% free. And I will do that every single day until I'm there.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
I want to get back to what you were talking about with the Mountain Crypto Advisors, right? So being, covering yourself in terms of, like, if you seek out like a reputable law firm that specializes in this shit and you get a legal opinion on that, from a court case standpoint, it's very advantageous, like a
more defendable position. Absolutely.
And that's what you were kind of like getting at, I'm assuming, from your point there. And we have interrupted and went on.
Yeah, and when you have a large, so it looks really bad to government officials and 3- and 4-letter agencies when you attack a mass crowd of people that, especially if they didn't have money and now all of a sudden they do, and you're coming for them and they didn't do anything wrong. They're law-abiding citizens that didn't break the law. Like, that's really a bad PR from their point of view. So there's also a PR thing that if there's enough people participating in this pool of asset protection, you can create a PR machine and a marketing machine that looks really bad that, hey, there's going to be some government officials that say, hey, man, this is not the kind of attention we want on this right now.
So question, are you guys, it sounds like, based upon what you previously said, that the interpretation that you're going to be putting forth for clients is that a loan in the crypto sense from a tax perspective. So for people who are listening to this, a loan, like from your point of view, is could be completely fucking different how the IRS interprets it. Think of like a house. House tends to go up in value. The IRS's mind, shit goes down in value. So like IRS doesn't like play in like the real world. They're just like made up rules, and then they're like, okay, this is reality. You guys have to live in our reality. Okay. Given that, you have this story that you can tell and create the justification along the way to paint to the IRS. Is that story going to be that it is a loan? It doesn't seem like that was a story. That it's going to be that it is a transfer of like title type of thing, even though they're still holding title of the asset.
So that's there's a two-part answer to that. First off, yes, we would like to clarify the language that in this new DeFi space, there is such thing as a loan, and it's not just transferring from one digital asset to another. So while I know everyone in here is going to say, but it's a loan, do you pay cash on a loan? Well, no, but no one's ever done this with crypto before. So we would like to set the defensible position that, hey, there is such thing as a crypto loan, and then have the IRS acknowledge it. So I'm just saying, as of now, that has not been done, and good luck justifying that to an IRS agent. So yes, that is part of what we'd like to do, but it is not our primary focus. Our primary focus as of right now is to verify and justify to the powers that be, not just the IRS, but the legislators as well, that Hex is your principal. Your staking rewards are fruit of the orchard. You are not being taxed on them as the rewards are being paid or credited to your account And it's because you can't realize those those gains until the stake ends anyway. So it's fruit of the orchard and is not taxable until taken to market to sell. That's the clearest and most concise way to put that. That you are not, it is not interest because you're not giving it to a third party. And we were making that very clear. And so you probably saw a couple months ago, we had a big push on the Hex Investment Trust side, especially, that we wanted to make it clear, Richard, you got to change interest. And he was using it because it was the easiest to market. But interest infers that you are giving your money to a trusted third party in exchange for a return from them generating some kind of yield. That is not the case. We know, everyone here in Hex knows that you generate your own yield by running the code yourself. You are not giving up your coins to any one person or third party.
So question on this, and then I still want to get back to the loan thing, right? Okay, so there could be a story that could say something along the lines of, I have $100,000 worth of Hex, whatever that quantity comes out to be. And by running this as a business, that's $100,000 expense in year zero, so that I can write that off in year zero because it's basically gone, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm earning that back in future years, but I don't get the benefit for 6 years, 12 years, whatever somebody decides to do, whatever the prerogative is. Is that kind of like how? Because I also want to talk to you about LP too.
So let's go back to that real quick. Let's go back to that. My man gets it here, guys. This is great. It's nice having a conversation with somebody that gets it, that understands legal entities, taxes, how finance actually works in the real world, not how crypto people perceive finance to work. And so I think crypto is going to change all that, but because there's so many different things you can do with peer-to-peer cash that you're not having to take, federal money and try to play the games under their jurisdictions. But one thing I would like to say to that point is that with the strategy with MCA is that that is the first step. And I won't give, it's not necessarily, I don't want to give all the details to it because that's what we have some tutorials on our website. We're revamping the website again. We didn't quite set it up the way that we wanted, but hold on a sec. Let me get back to let me just answer that real quickly and without actually really answering it, is that yes, that is part of our strategy is we are creating an LLC, which is a family office. So this is not new. This has been done for generations by the wealthy. And there's some benefits to how that's all set up. Yep.
So first of all, I don't think, so I think that there's an idea out there that I've heard from other people, and I'm not saying this is the case with here, but like I see this idea that there's a negative connotation with kind of like giving away everything. But I see that as a little bit different. Like I will give away all the things that I possibly know in the world to give that value because I know what that builds as time.
But you also know that no one will outwork you.
Well, yeah, but the other
intuitively, I remember there was times in my life where I felt the same way, but I knew there was guys that were going harder than me because I didn't have the resources at the time mentally. Like I knew there was guys like you if they were doing the same thing as me, but now I'm in a position where I'm so freed up mentally. I'm so freed up. But how did we get there, right? How did we get freed up? It was from 10 years of discipline in whatever field that was in, right?
True.
This is so fascinating to me. Like this conversation, we should have had him on a long time ago. And I could definitely see having you back on again if you want to continue to share and build the awareness around MCA.
Absolutely.
Okay, so fascinating. I get what you're saying there. Mm-hmm. That's plenty for me, and hopefully the people who are astute enough to understand what he's saying about the LLC. And
well, I don't want to bore everyone with the structure of it, honestly, because you can find that information. I did a video. I did a 1 hour video on just the structure of when there was the 1% that didn't understand it, the guys that had never run a business before that were attacking it. It's fine. Everyone, free speech, let them do their thing. I just didn't even address it. It's just not even worth it. It's better to put out good information and actually educate people. So that's what I did. I did an hour-long video of here's how the structure actually works. And it makes a big difference once you understand that.
Okay, so given your answer to what we just talked about, I would think that if you're doing LP and people are so scared of like this thing called opportunity cost or sunk cost, which in this world is called impermanent loss. right? They're so scared of that, but it's just an opportunity cost or some cost, depending on how you want to define it.
But highlight that people don't know what the word means, Sam. So
opportunity cost. If you guys are watching this right now, there's 86 people watching. If you guys are watching this, this is an opportunity cost for you. This is the last 38 minutes or whatever we've been on here is a sunk cost for you. You've spent 35 minutes here where you could have been going out and doing something else. That is all impermanent loss is. You decided to put money into something and you made a decision. Boom. Live with that decision. Don't whine about like shit went up 10x on this side and only went up 2x on this side, and now you're holding all the 2x instead of all the 10x. Like you made the decision, live with it. But when it comes to a tax planning standpoint, this is the story I'm going to be telling my accountant. That effectively allows you to say if you have 50,000 hex and 50,000 USDC, and then hex goes up, right? And then you're left with all USDC. Effectively, depending on how you word and structure and all that shit, effectively, you've lost all your hex, right?
Effectively.
Right? Which would be a cost, would offset the gains on the yield earned from providing LP.
Yeah, but nobody understands those higher level tactics like you do. So you can try to explain these to people, but most people aren't going to pick up on that. That's why you need a tax professional to help you with these things, because that is 100% correct. And those are tactics deployed by our CPAs and our team. So can you pull Jesse the Pit Bosses back up there? So good luck. You have done absolutely no work on the background in the legacy finance space to prove that a loan in crypto is actually a loan. So you have not done the work on K Street. You have not done the work in the legislative process and in the judicial system to make that happen. That is what we're building. I want to agree with you, Jesse the Pit Boss. And that's what we're trying to build with these legal opinion letters, is that the case that you're making is 100% correct. But as of now, good luck justifying that to an IRS agent. So
that's kind of what I was getting at. Isn't that kind of what I was because I sent that letter out, and I know technically, yes, if you write on a paper that all loans are not taxed, I understand that, guys. I'm not an idiot. Like all loans, yes, okay, we get that. But you're telling me if I take out an Ethereum $10 million loan on my Ethereum to my local bank down the street, that is going to go smoothly.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break. I'm smarter than that. I can't even get them to answer the phone. So are we just bypassing customer service? Are we just saying that, customer service, just whoop?
So but there's this company. I live in Florida. There's a company in Tampa, which is close by, that is called Property. I think that's how it's said. And they're taking titles and putting them in LLCs, and then they're putting the LLC in a smart contract as a NFT, and then flipping the NFT to be sold. So you don't ever have to do what you're saying. If you want to buy, say, real estate or something, the same thing is going to happen with cars. If you want to purchase a car using crypto, the same thing as the structure. It's just going to be a middleman called an LLC in there.
Yeah.
Because that way there's going to be a transition where that's like the cumbersome part right now, the friction. But in 3 years, 10 years, it's going to be way smoother because
100%. 100%. Because I want the same goal that Jesse the Pit Boss wants. It's just we're not at that reality yet. So we have to. It's like when Uber came in, all the taxi guys yelled at. So the traditional banks are going to do the same thing about DeFi. They're going to lobby against crypto. Hey, that's not actually a loan. They didn't come to us where it's FDIC insured and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So we have to create the defensible position. So I agree, not just theologically, but ideologically with Jesse that, yeah, absolutely, a loan is a loan. But I can show you court cases in many different states where people who thought they were taking loans on Aave and Curve have still been hit with a tax bill. So I can show those to you guys. So we decided
you can write off the losses too, which is like a little bit of nuanced part that people don't get into, because Sam always brings up the opposite. Like it's a little bit like if you take a big loss, like you can write it off.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but Sam, think of any question you have, please. I'm going to take just a minute or two, guys. You guys are so awesome, both of you guys.
You got it. Well, your crowd is awesome, man. I'm loving the comments.
This is great. Awesome. We're all men here. We love spicy talk, guys. Come on. We love to get a little amped up.
And it's okay to disagree. And so I think that's what actually gets us to the crux of a solution is, okay, you and I don't agree, but what would fix both those our opinions at the same time? And hey, Jesse, you guys raised what, 45, 50 million dollars? Work with us. Help us get these opinion letters and let's get these attorneys. That's a lot of freaking money for a protocol that doesn't need anything and no admin keys, right? So you don't need that money for anything other than going to fight the legislative battle, right? Or the next project you're going to build, whatever it is. So these are actually pretty inexpensive. Let's put these these attorneys, these law firms that the IRS is going to use to attack you and me on retainer, and let's get a defensible position together. Let's work together with this, guys.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to take a little 1 minute break and show a commercial for it's actually not a commercial. This is something that'll actually open up Sam's mind, something Sam hasn't seen ever. So this will be really cool for the 1.5-minute break. It's a video of KNTX. Guys,
it's so
KNTX is
watching
anything
myself.
like
I don't
me,
watch any of my own streams. So
it's all right. It's all right. I don't watch my shit. I can't. It's rough.
Yeah, I don't watch I don't.
It's so hard. But anyway, guys, I know there's a lot of friction right now emotionally for everyone because of a million different things, business, and then how it all relates to Hex, Pulse Chain coming out. What are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Guys, we want all these Pulse Chain projects to work. These are way better projects than we've seen on any other launched on any other blockchain right away. People are talking to us about this stuff is probably going to dominate the next bull market. Like this is really good stuff. And if you're anything like me, we can just all work together on this. If you're not fucking scamming people, it's probably going to work out because we have so much community momentum. Guys, let's take a quick break. This will open our brains a little bit to like Pulse Chain. Maybe we can obviously go back and forth about whatever, but this is a little clip of KNTX. Hold on real quick. And he's probably seen this stuff plenty, but suck it up. No, I'm just kidding.
Ethereum Hex, right? Like that's what I want.
I don't get it. Like, who's going to sell you a cheap? So if you get in before the fork, you're already getting an E-hex and a P-hex, which we're just calling hex. But for this example, I'm going to use EMP. But generally, I'll just call the P-hex hex.
And it's hex. It
Exactly.
is hex. Absolutely, I agree with that.
So, well, I'll just say hex on the Pulse network and hex on the ETH network. So if you get in before the fork, you're getting hex on the ETH network, hex on the Pulse network. And if you don't like the hex on the ETH network, you can sell that for hex on the Pulse network. And so you're going to end up with like 2 hex on the Pulse network if you get in before the fork.
Yep.
But then if you get in after the fork, you're just getting 1.
Yep.
So even if you thought that it was like, if you think hex on the Pulse network is going to go up, well, then isn't the best time to buy it before it goes
right
up,
now while it's in a dip on the Ethereum network?
Right? Yeah. So this concept that you're somehow going to get cheap Pulse, I think it comes from the idea that we're going to launch at 0, but they don't understand that the next tick, the next price
changes everything.
It ain't going to be a little
Sets
bit more
all
than 0.
of the markets.
It's going to be a lot more than 0.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can trade at 0, but your next tick is going to be a lot more than 0.
Well, and then especially with all the different liquidity pools, it's got to affect the ratios of everything on the network.
Right. So like, do you think that if someone copies over 10 or 20 million of USDC bridged in, that they're going to, I mean, copy over is not the right word, but they're like,
but bridge it in.
Well, okay, this value is like 10 or 20. So then if you want it to be equal, then you put 10 or 20 there. Do you think that entity or person that would be adding that is going to add it at dumb price? And they're just going to be
wouldn't.
Like, you're going to be like, yeah, you know.
Especially as the you guys are on mute.
There we go. When was that?
That was December 1st.
So that was a sneak clip for Sam because he's never seen any of that footage.
Oh, okay.
That was before Sam, so they were still kind of talking the game theory through. They were talking, what's this post fork going to look like?
Yeah.
Where's this stable coin value going to look like on the other side? That's some of the stuff we love digging into this show. The stable coin talk gets me excited because people don't want to bring it up and they say Pulse Chain won't have a stable coin. But I'm sitting over here like, I don't know why you necessarily need a stable coin. I'm not that fluid on that, but I see every other chain works towards that. And I see that rich people use stable coins. So I want to know more.
What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to be like the stable coin, or like, because there's going to be one that probably dominates. You would think it tends to be the case on other chains, right? Curious to hear your thoughts on that. Alan,
real quick, $5 super chat. We need to write the rules of our game before they write them for us.
Yes.
More raw.
Get everybody on the same page.
Yes.
Hit me
So
with flowers in your hair.
My man Alan gets it. So I'm not saying like I said, ideologically, I agree with Jesse the Pit Boss. Like, yes, they loans should be loans, but like I said, there's legal court cases out there that show that there's not a defensible position for crypto yet. There's a strategic way to do this that is done in politics and legacy finance to make that happen. So we want the same things. Trust me on that. We want the same things. Going back, sorry. So yeah, you got to write if you help create the laws and you are the lobbyist that sets the rules, then it's a lot smoother for you going forward than trying to be the outsider fighting in. So, and I agree with loans, crypto loans. We're trying to make that argument too, that crypto loans are loans, guys. I want to make that clear, but it's not just the tax benefits that you get from MCA. It's estate planning. So litigation specifically, you're actually more likely to be litigated against in the United States than you are to have a major medical illness. So the odds are there. The statistics are there. You can look at any of the like prepaid legal services that have got the empirical data on paper. You can see that for yourself. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It is definitely, I think if we're going back to the stablecoin question, I think honestly, because they did have such a large sacrifice phase and because the community is very much aware of them. And when the protocol does come out and is available for people to look at, I know they say, look at liquidity on Ethereum. Well, I don't know if you're going to deploy exactly the same contract that liquidity is. So once we can actually trust but verify, I trust they have the best interest of the community in mind. Once we can verify that, because it's the most well-known in the largest pool of people that are going to participate in Pulse Chain, I think liquid loans will probably be the loan token will probably be the stable coin of Pulse, at least for a time.
Take. Amazing take. Amazing take, because that's, this is all speculation. Like literally there could be no stable coin that adopts on. Correct. Literally none. Like Hex could be the stable, or it could just be something that Richard comes
I hope not. I want appreciation in that coin, man.
No, I know.
I don't want it to be a
saying.
stable
You know all
coin.
the words that get thrown around though. Like everyone says there's 1.5 million options, right? You never know in crypto. You never know.
Where I would love to read one of those court cases where a crypto loan actually is perceived in court as a transfer of title of some place like that, and show that, because like to us it's like common sense, it's a fucking loan, right? But that's not necessarily how the IRS or anybody in the court system is going to view that shit. So where would I find?
I got you, Sam. I'll find that for you. I'm going to find someone who knows that information if KNTX doesn't. But I'm going to do that.
I'm also, we have a legal team that they've got paralegals that do that work. So I personally am not digging in that. We're building right now. So we could do a SAC phase. We could raise a bunch of money. We tried to go to the community directly to support, but because we didn't have a token that might possibly go up in value, we didn't get a whole lot of feedback. So it's taken us a little bit longer because we're trying to self-fund everything that we're doing right now. But we're trying to bridge literally that vertical integration that Richard's talking about, where legacy meets crypto, and then where it's not only mass adopted by the masses, but also is politically has its own standing. That's the hard work, the stuff that takes the years behind the scene that we're working on right now. That's literally.
I think that because yes, we're maybe younger than probably some of the audience that you're going to be dealing with, I would guess. But there's probably
days, Jesus,
potentially, you never know, obviously, but there's a tremendous amount, in my opinion, of people in the population who would much rather work with somebody to help them through the process, who already has a nest egg, right? Like GRC, right? Who already has assets, and they don't want to fucking do all the shit. Like they want to understand it, and they want to but they want somebody that a trusted advisor who can help them with that process. On the trusted advisor piece, so in my mind, it's like, okay, well, and I'm not we're all in different places, so it's like, okay, well, you're giving up your keys, or how does that? Is there software that's available? Is it like, hey, I'm going to be a client, right? So then it's a multi-sig where you need me every single time. Like, how does that stuff work to
We're actually
Darn
building
right.
out our own platform for exactly those things, because right now it's all piecemealed with different softwares, and we're trying to make this a lot smoother transaction to be able to get all these things in place. Now, of course, the problem with all these different tools is they all work. You just have to. They don't all solve the same problem, you know. And so we've got a multifaceted asset protection vehicle that we've created here. So. And it's based off of what billionaires have done for years. So if you're going to try to not you personally, Sam, but if people are going to try to convince me what we're doing is wrong, well, then you go fight with the billionaires that have done this for generations and have generational wealth, that they know what they're doing, because that's all we're doing. And the guys that our team actually has 100 millionaire and billionaires in legacy finance that they've been doing this for. They've got 50 plus years of more than that. I think 60 plus years of experience.
I think what you guys are doing is amazing. And as you're saying this, I'm excited, because if you build out the platform and you decide to license that could be bigger than what you're actually doing with MCA. Like if you hit the fucking platform, if you provide that where you can bring together that trust in a way where they can like allow an advisor to manage their shit for them and help them navigate the world of DeFi. I mean, that platform could be massive, because that's what the industry needs right now. And there's nobody doing that. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So we've discussed this. Got baby steps first. We got to learn to walk before we can run. So we just don't have the infrastructure. We didn't do a sacrifice to raise millions of dollars. So we're taking this slower, taking a more slow, methodical approach to this. And we're happy where we're at this point in time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not salty at all about sacrifices, because I think the people that participated are going to do very, very well in these sacrifices as Pulse Chain gets adoption. So good on you guys for investing in your future with the Richard Hart ecosystem. Very, very proud of you guys, because this isn't just for Hexicans. We would like to offer this to the crypto space as a whole going forward in the future. And let's be honest, guys, what's good for the crypto industry is good for Hex and Richard Hart ecosystems. We just got to make sure that we're not associating ourselves with the things that scam out. You know what I mean? Because that's just a black eye that sets us 2 steps back for every step forward we take.
I completely agree. Question on that. So sacrifices, right? There's a lot of sacrifices out there. I've done a couple, and I do think that there's going to be a lot of people who make fantastic returns on them.
100% agree with that.
When people's minds, they're going to be like, oh, I made fantastic returns. But when we look at it from a tax perspective, could be different, right? So the sacrifices is the perception the IRS is taking that it is.
There's nothing
out there.
No,
yet.
Because it's so new. The concept is so new. It's the newest way to raise money. So here's what we are saying is we are trying to create the taxable, defensible position that the sacrifices are actually a capital loss. We are trying to justify that with these legal opinion letters. And by, like I said, once you have these legal opinion letters from these law firms, the IRS can, so you use the highest powered law firms that the IRS uses on a regular basis, you lock them up, conflict of interest, they have to go to a lesser firm or a less known firm to argue their point, their position, and we have a much stronger defensible position at that point in time.
So guys, this is what Ethereum did when they launched. They went over to, I think it was Switzerland, set up their foundation over there, and then they went to nobody fucking had any idea about crypto back then, but they went out and they found the best firm they could to get a legal opinion letter, exactly what he's talking about, to justify what they're doing. So
we're not doing anything new.
Correct.
Like this, we're not reinventing the wheel. Right?
Not at all. This is exactly the same thing. You're just doing it with crypto.
Yeah, 100%. It's just like you guys taking a good protocol like Liquidity and forking it and putting it on the Pulse chain. It's the same concept. Why do you or the things that Richard Hart is doing with PulseX and Pulse chain, these things aren't new. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're just doing it the right way. So it's the same concept that we're just taking, we're just dealing in the real world with crypto noobs that don't understand, who ask questions. So we have a state legislator that says, so imagine I have a duffel bag. How many of these digital coins can I fit in this duffel bag? These are the questions that are coming out of the legislative process. Not even kidding you. These are literally the questions coming out of the legislative process. And you're saying infinite, literally infinite, and you don't actually hold them. In fact, the blockchain just keeps a ledger account of them. And so trying to explain these things to the old guard is really our job. So we've got some political I guess you could say not pundits, but we've got some political operators that are dealing on the state level, because we really think that the state level is the best place to start with, because states do have state rights. You get enough states on board and the federal government cannot ignore them. So some people are going straight for the throat with the federal government, unless you guys got hundreds of millions of dollars to throw at the lobbyists to write the laws for you and let these guys and I haven't seen anyone in crypto do this yet. That's the problem. That's what's really frustrating. Like you got some guys guys that make, like Charles Hoskinson makes off of his node from Cardano because of the size of his stack. He makes $40 million a month. Why isn't Charles Hoskinson? Why wouldn't you fight that political battle, man? Do you need $40 million a month? In 3 months, you could literally support any and every legislation that you believe is actually the way crypto should be. You could literally write the laws with that kind of money if you went to a lobbyist. And I don't see anyone else doing that.
What you're doing and what MCA is doing is, like, if you guys are watching this and you don't understand what's going on in this arena necessarily and some of the things that were mentioned, but you understand how big pharma has dictated what's happened over the last 24 months, 36 months.
In fact, so the guy so a lot of people don't know this. You guys might have seen me interview, or Wales, or Crypto J, or RG3 interview George Wentz from Mad Energy, Make a Difference Energy. George Wentz is a high-powered political lawyer. He's the guy that you can thank George Wentz for, and he doesn't get all the credit for all the stuff he does. You can thank George Wentz for not having to wear a mask on planes anymore. He was on our show. He's the guy that made it so you do not have to wear masks on planes.
In Florida. That case was in Florida?
Yeah. And then so he's actually suing Kaiser Permanente right now because they literally wrote the guidelines the CDC accepted. And who benefits most from those guidelines? Big medical facilities like Kaiser Permanente. And they got all the subsidies and everything else. So, yep. So
you guys
we won't touch on that. Well, you just got to know, guys, that you can't do this just from we're going to be libertarian anarchists and we're going to change the world. No, you got to do it within the legislation. There's a way to do it. We can do this, guys. We can do this.
Because you got to think, if you extrapolate the wealth and the transfer in a bear market and a recession and what Pulse Chain could potentially do, we might very well have a few of the richest people in each state in the United States.
100%. Yep.
People don't understand. They don't understand that when you're the richest person in your state, you do make the rules.
100%.
If you're in politics. And
why do you think Walmart is headquartered in Arkansas?
What is headquartered, did you say?
Walmart.
Yep.
Bentonville, Arkansas. Why do you think it's in Arkansas? Because they wrote the rules and they wrote the tax benefits for themselves. So
I'm going to read this article. This Abe website I pulled up here so we can actually get some facts up in this bitch.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So I pulled up the tax spot within the Aave. Hold on one sec. Let me read this aloud.
Good for you, man, for taking the extra time to look into this too.
Oh, dude, come on.
I have a team that's doing this because I'm working on the we're about this close to having our own bank. I'll just say that right now.
I understand this is a business and that you probably teamed up with some tax professionals.
I want to learn about that what he just mentioned after.
Do you pay taxes on Aave? Yes. Your Aave transactions are taxable and you'll need to pay tax on them. The tax you'll pay all depends on specific transactions you're making, but you'll pay either income tax or capital gains tax. Let's break it down. Do you pay tax lending crypto on Aave? The IRS and other tax offices haven't given clear guidance on the tax implications of DeFi lending protocols yet. You hear that, chat? Mm-hmm. Wow, you can read the website and you get the real answer. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
And so that bottom line,
Aave, you deposit an asset into a specific liquidity pool.
Yep.
In return, you get a token at a 1-for-1 ratio to represent your deposited crypto. This could be seen as a
this is the part right here I think is important. A crypto to crypto trade. Yep.
This could
And
be
that goes
seen as
back
a
to that
crypto-
2017 Trump tax guideline that I was talking about earlier, guys. That's exactly almost verbatim from the tax plan from 2017. It is not a like-kind asset from one to another. Crypto to crypto is a taxable event. I don't care if it's a crypto loan token. It doesn't matter until we create that narrative for the SEC, the CMTC, the IRS, all these different 3 and 4 letter agencies. Until you have that defensible position, good luck arguing that point.
This is fascinating stuff. And you had just
mentioned, Sam, you proud of me, bro?
Bro, making gains, son. This is good.
No, not the gains, the freaking.
But no, getting into the details. Yes, 100%. No, 100%.
Not the gains, bro. But dude,
I'm like,
yeah, finance is great and all, but dude, check out the gains.
Check out the gains.
Yeah, so let's.
We're doing a fitness challenge right now, so it's on our minds.
Yeah, so that when you had that sit down with Richard Hart, what was the one takeaway that you had as far as not personality wise? Like, I know everyone says the same thing. He's an awesome dude. Like when they meet him, like they all say the same shit. I don't even want to hear it anymore. But as far as what you were talking about, the substance, like what did you get the most out of actually meeting him and talking about the product in person?
That he has actually put in the time and thought about these things. It's not just I came up with this answer off the top of my head. It wasn't a whim that just all of a sudden came to him. It's other than the fact that him interviewing with Hexo, he realized that the sacrifice wallet was going to get a copy on Pulse Chain too. But other than that's the only realization that he didn't realize until he was talking with Hexo on the night before when he'd interviewed him in person. But for the most part, you can tell like the guy has put in the work. He's game theoried this out to the max. He constantly updates his worldview when he gets new information. And I see that not just in the stream that I got with him, that it was genuine, that he had really thought about these things, but then you see him update his worldview on the streams after that as well, because new information comes out and he actually takes the time to understand these things. So the guy is putting in the work. That's the biggest takeaway I got from talking with him, is that he's legit. He's legit, guys. The guy knows what he's doing.
If you kind of like understand the nuances of sacrifice, you're like, oh wow, this somebody who actually understands what the fuck is happening is who put this together. Because
tell me that. Talk about that.
So like,
yeah, clarify that.
If you think of like what an ICO is, right? Mm-hmm. Like an initial public offering, effectively for the crypto space, the IPO and legacy is a way to raise money, right? Because you have products and services, and then when you go to an IPO, you just sell paper. That's all.
Yeah.
So it's another way for you to collect money from the marketplace. Mm-hmm. And people have been doing ICOs like crazy, like back, what is it, 2017, 18?
17 was huge. A lot of people made a lot of money, and a lot of people got wrecked hard on ICOs. Yep.
And the I would think, and I'm literally in crypto for 65 days or something, 60 days. Like I've understand like
you're
some
that
things.
New.
Yeah. But I love
it. You come from a background of finance, so you understand a lot of these concepts. So like I can tell when I'm talking about these things, because I've had to do my research on these things, and I come from a legacy finance career, professional career. And so I've had to think about these things over years. So when I'm talking with you, I can tell that guy gets it. He understands these points that I'm coming across with, because you and I have never talked before. We didn't talk. We have not talked about this before. We have not come together and said, hey, let's do a commercial for MCA and the things that we're doing. This is literally on the spot the first time you and I have ever talked. And it's
this is the first time we've really ever interacted, other than just in like a
head
here and there. Yeah, like I don't like talking to Sam. If we have time, sometimes we like chit chatting before. But me and Sam are so, I don't want to say well studied, but I just prepare for the stream. Really, it's not like I just study what's going on in the stream the day before, right? So I know I wouldn't even really need you here, but it's just like I love having the guy here for this exact reason. Those nuanced positions that everyone has, but no one really knows. That's what Sam gets to the bottom of, because he's just the nuts and bolts guy. Like he's like, okay, the crypto, the hex, this, that, and the other. Like, what is going on? The derivative, like what? It's the same financial play. It's the same thing, isn't it? To a degree, it's like Sam is just kind of the guy who's just like, I don't even use the word crypto. He just gets right into the knuckles of it, and it's just like, this is what it is. It's a derivative play, right? Like it's just
100%.
Yeah.
When you think about, so I'm sorry, this is on a tangent. You think about the derivative play with Maxi, right? So you could be like, in traditional finance, they use something called a discounted cash flow model to like model out future values of stock prices, right? But there's several models. You can use that's the best known one. And if you do that kind of using the yield, right? Because you can use cash flows or you can use yield, whether it's a bond or like,
Or
depending on how the
dividends.
company is, or
Yeah.
dividends, exactly. Discounted dividend, like, anyways. So if you do this for like Maxi, then you kind of have a target of where things could potentially be in a year, relatively speaking, to Hex. So that anytime it's below this point, you just acquire. And then it goes up. You could sell if you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
But then there's like so much opportunity.
So me and Wales have
excited.
talked about this a lot, the quantitative side of the value propositions of Hedron and Maxi versus Hex for these purposes as a derivative play and as a way to get those gains on the Maxi price appreciation token without actually physically having to stake your Hex and having liquidity.
Yes.
It's amazing. Yes, it is amazing.
So what are your thoughts on this in terms of?
I hadn't thought about it, including the Hedron and what the yield provided by the Hedron token versus I was just looking at straight Maxi and Hex, and I just hadn't done a deep dive on it. But now that you add, not only the liquidity premium and the Hedron token into that equation, these numbers blew me away as soon as you showed this spreadsheet.
What do you think about this? Because I think this is actually greater than 5% personally, but I just put 5%, and this number I know is higher than 2% for the bonus. Bigger pays better, longer pays better.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's higher than 2%. I don't know exactly what it is.
It's 10%.
It's 10%. Can you change your formula right now? It's Max is out.
Yeah.
So
150 million.
So
Sam.
you're
150 million Hex staked is the max multiplier you get of 10%.
10%.
So and what do you think about because if you think about what you were just saying, bigger pays better, longer pays better. So in order to capture both of those, you got to lock your shit up for 15 effing years.
Yep.
That's a big, like, scary proposition to a lot of people. Now, what happens when you remove that one and you give it liquidity? I think 5% on the premium for the liquidity side is low. Personally,
I think that's a pretty conservative number. I don't know I don't know what formula you would use. I'd have to do some research, but I don't know what formula you'd use to figure that out. But I think you're right that could very much be a very conservative number. It could be closer to 15-20%.
Yes, that's what I thought it was. Yes,
because I have no doubt in my mind that it probably is, just because of the fact that you have that liquidity instantly if you need it.
Oh, this is going to be
so Sam, just at this moment right here, what is the Hex price? Let's look.
Okay, so
let me full screen so I can see personally.
Okay,
so right now we're at 0.177. Now let's go right over to the Maxi chart.
Well, is this the Dex cam? But is this price based on Hex? Is that like Maxi price based on Hex? So it's a ratio of the two.
This is the Maxi Hex ratio right here.
Yeah.
So see the button where it says switch to Hex price? It's up.
Yeah, hold on one
to
second.
The right a little bit. That down. Okay. Right there. Click that button where.
I already clicked it.
Okay, so if right there, it's at 13% premium. Okay, guys, if we take a look at what we just had up on my spreadsheet, right? And if we change the bonus to 10%, and if we change
it to 10% on the liquidity premium. Let's go
10%, and even if we'll just keep this at 5, we'll just be super conservative.
Okay.
This is at 28 cents. That means the implied price of Hex or Maxi today, 5/5/2022, should be 28 cents, and it is trading at, what did you say the price is?
Roughly. Hold on one second.
20 cents. Yeah. I think it's 20 cents.
Yep, it is.
That allows you to buy a 20% discount of Hex effectively. The best Hex, you can factor in the speculative value of Hedron, which I think.
So I can tell you a little. I think I'm really good at explaining what the value of Hedron, like, to the people that don't like looking at a spreadsheet, right? Because some people just look at that shit and they're just like, "The fuck are you talking about?" I've looked up Maxi for hours. Have had Gold Key on. I've talked to Dipcatcher for hours, guys. I know Maxi inside and out now, pretty much. So basically, the easiest way to explain Maxi to someone is imagine if you had 150 million hex max multiplier on your stake plus 4x Hedron, plus you don't have to pay ETH fees, plus it's tradable and you don't have to be stuck in a smart contract that could be compromised potentially in the future. You could trade it out. Plus it has speculative value as a token itself. Plus people trade no matter what. That equals a tradable stake. You are now trading your stakes. You have sellable hex max value stakes.
Yes.
You have extracted the value of the max possible hex premium, and you have turned it into a tradable asset. That is what Maxi is.
That's what derivatives are.
Yes, and now think about this, which is I'm refinancing my house, and I was going to buy more real estate, like rental properties. Like there's a duplex. I'm not putting it into real estate.
I wouldn't right now either.
I'm going all in on crypto with this. Now think about.
So I'm a real estate guy. I've got rentals. I've sold rentals to buy more crypto. Like I want to go buy. I plan on probably in the next 2 years buying another 100 rentals, another 100 doors. Just because I love real estate. I love showing up with my contractor and saying this and this needs to be done before the renter moves in. Let's bomb proof this for this renter. And looking at, I like the 3 versus the 4 versus. I'm not doing any of that right now. There's no way, because the opportunity cost is too high for me to not be doing anything except for a crypto play at this moment in time.
So think about this. We have Maxi. We already understand a lot of like the idea behind hex getting copy, right? Like there's going to be whales that are going to bridge that shit over, and it's probably going to sit at parity relatively quick, in my personal opinion. Maxi, the volatility Maxi is probably going to be 1.5 to 3.6x what hex is, right? The volatility of Maxi is probably going to be greater than.
I'd say 2x.
We don't know. It'll be interesting
because, well, if your T-shares, think about it if you look at it just with raw math, this is just the basics, not even adding all the variables in there. But you got 3 times the amount of T-shares because it's a 15-year stake, that max stake. It's beyond 10 years. So 10 years and beyond, you max out at 3x multiplier on your T-shares, plus a 10% bonus on top of that for having at least 150 million hex in the stake at the same time. So I think 3.6 is very, very, I think it's actually 3.9, I think is the simple math on that, Sam. So I would not be surprised to see in the very near future a 3.5, 4x multiplier on Maxi versus Hedron. Or I mean, I'm sorry, hex.
So on the Hedron side, just to touch on what you were saying, GRC, I think personally,
and that's not even including, sorry, that doesn't even include the Hedron in the variable there. Yep, exactly.
No ETH gas fees.
I don't think people are actually factoring that in. Like we understand that, but I don't think like a lot of people factor that in because they're like, I'm not going to even get to the gas fees because I'm going to sell this shit before that, right? If they have a 2, 3, 4, 5,
but they're not even going to have to pay the gas fee if they don't sell it. And what if you have, let's say this, what if I buy 1 million Maxi, right? I buy 1 million Maxi. What if I sell 250,000 of it? Or what if I buy 6 times more than I had and then I go to redeem?
Yeah.
That's when you don't even have to pay the ETH fee.
Yep.
Which is, oh man, this
Dude,
is so wait,
it could be a $20,000 bill when
let's say a bodybuilder comes in and says, Sam, we got $1 million contract for you right here, whatever. You're like, dude, I'm keeping my Maxi forever. I'm locked in now. Like, fuck this. 15 years later, you're like, oh, Jesus, Lord, have mercy. Like, no ETH fee? Like, what?
Think about what ETH fees are going to be. What are ETH fees going to be? But so this is the fun part.
I think they'll be lower.
I
think they'll be lower.
It could be, but imagine we're at what 2 to 3% of the world population that owns crypto and like
proof of stake. It'll be proof of stake fully.
But that's where we are now. What happens when that 2% of the population is 20% of the population? I don't think they're going to keep up with it personally.
Dude, it's the funny thing is that if you look at the value of a network,
who has their music playing or something? There's an echo,
there's a speaker or something coming through. So if you think about there's the implications too, guys, of the value of a network is exponential. The value of a network goes up exponentially based on its user base. So as you add one more person, it's not just a 1 + 1, it's a multiplier effect.
It's Metcalfe's law.
You go from 2% to, well, it's similar to Metcalfe's law, but you go from 2 to 20%. That's like a 1,000,000x multiplier on the value of the network. Think about that, guys.
It's not just an 18% like
no, it's not an 18%.
It's like a magnitudes. Like, okay, now
you guys got another 15 in you?
I have 15.
Dude, I work out, bro, and I eat. I watch my eating. I 16-hour fast every day. Like, dude, I'm here for another 100 years. Are you kidding me?
Let's freaking go. I have to pee so bad because I'm a fasted little rabbit. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about the thing that I find super fascinating with Maxi, right? We got a copy of Maxi. By the way, guys, MCA is like, if you think of like somebody doing kind of like God's work, so to speak, is like what Big Pharma is doing to their best interest, MCA is doing for the crypto community.
And we're trying it's more than just asset protection and making sure you don't lose everything when you get sued, or if you make 20-something year olds make a bad marriage decision and they run off with half. Like this solution fixes that. It also minimizes your taxes. I won't say it gets rid of your taxes altogether. We do have solutions for that as well. It is international now, guys. This alpha. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. In fact, pretty soon in the next 2 months, we're going to actually shut down all operations for taking on new customers in the United States to focus on the international branch. So if you guys have any questions or you guys want to get on board, now's the time to do it, guys, because we're booked out till August right now. But heading back to that, we didn't do a good job of the messaging, quite honestly, but we are literally trying to build these defensible positions, not just for Hex and the Richard Hart ecosystem, but for all of crypto space altogether. So that's why we needed this foundation built now, so that we can build upon it. You can't build a skyscraper on sand, guys. So
we need this before some court cases go in the other direction. If we have court cases come out right now, guys, where the IRS is like, hey, this shit is this direction, and the people weren't as prepared as like people who are working with MCA, like that's detrimental, not just for that person who's losing that court case from a tax perspective or legal perspective. It's detrimental for you and me as we continue our progress.
Because you will feel the ramifications of those decisions as they're being handed down.
100%. Okay, so back to the Maxi thing just 1 second, because I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do that.
We have eMaxi, PMaxi. We have wrapped PMaxi, and we have wrapped eMaxi.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be interesting, right? So if somebody bridges in Maxi from Ethereum, it's going to hold value, which is going to give PMaxi some type of value above zero. It's all right. Like if the ratio is too crazy, PMaxi is going to hold value because it's tied to the wrapped, but also assuming somebody creates a pair, which there probably will be a pair, even if liquidity is low. But there's also going to be, if the ratio was say 10-1, like wrapped eMaxi on Pulse, 10-1 relative to PMaxi. I'll take that trade because then I get 10 PMaxi that is tied to Hex, which I believe is going to be parity real quick.
So here's my take on anything that's going to be bridged over. And I think Richard Hart believes this, but he won't as much come out and say it because it's a forward-looking price statement. That's why he won't say these things. And I've said this on my stream several times. It's been months because it's been 2 months since I actually streamed, since I'm just so busy with the things that we're building in the background. But I think everything's going to hit parity. And why wouldn't it? If you've got an arbitrage opportunity to make up the alpha between what's going on the Ethereum chain versus what's going on the Pulse chain, I guarantee someone's going in there and saying, hey, at some point this is going to hit parity anyway because it's a useful protocol on both sides. It doesn't matter which one you interact with. The only difference is the gas fee and how fast it goes through. That's literally the only difference. I think you're going to have ARB bots and you're going to have day traders come in and say, man, this is trading at a 10% discount. I'll buy that 10% up right now. And then as the price appreciation goes up, I didn't just make whatever the gain is from that moment in time, but also the additional percentage points that I made by making that ARB trade.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on a double wrap, right? We got Bitcoin wrapped into Ethereum, and then we were going to have a wrapped version
Bitcoin
of that
from Ethereum copied on Pulse. I have not put a lot of thought into that. But what I'm wondering is, what I have wondered about is how are these bridges going to look at that? Because think about this. What if those bridges offer a wrapped, what if the REN BTC bridge decides, hey, there's value over on Pulse chain. Let's wrap it onto Pulse chain, Bitcoin onto Pulse chain, and not just Ethereum. Now, how does the bridging mechanism, how does the protocol handle bridged in Bitcoin from 2 different chains. And then is there an arbitrage opportunity with taking it to Ethereum, then to Pulse? Yeah, exactly.
Because you're gonna have people bridge in wrapped Bitcoin, which is one. You're gonna have a copy of that, and then if you have another bridge, bring in wrapped, and then if they're on Pulse X and some type of
you have a wrapped version on Pulse. Yeah.
This is gonna be. I was doing some numbers the other day, and there's a ARB opportunity with Maxi.
And the Maxi's not even an ARB opportunity. It's just a slap to the face. It's just an ARB to the face, dude. It's like if you're not ARBing this, you're not even alive at this point.
This was something where, so how I like to explain ARBing is apples, oranges, and bananas. They all trade 1-to-1-to-1. Meaning if I have 5 apples, I cannot in any way, shape, or form trade around here and come out with 6 apples.
Yeah.
When you ARB, if you have 5 apples and you go through 3 pairs or 4, or depending on how you structure it, you have 5 apples. You can put that into the system and come out with 6, 7 apples. It happens all the time.
Yep. So why do you think there's so many sandwich bots out there that are arbing your trades and taking value from one pairing versus the other, and then applying it to another pairing, and then coming back around and buying more of the pairing that they initially started with?
Wrapped Bitcoin duplicated onto Pulse is a confusing one. There's a lot of liquidity in that pair. So maybe the AMM bot is going to harvest that and put a S load of Pulse liquidity in the PWBTC pair. My thoughts on that, I was thinking about that yesterday, actually, believe it or not. It's just like,
I think that's awesome.
It's because it's hard to say. It's really hard to say.
Well, now you've got it. So look at this ARB opportunity, just to throw it out there. I don't know what it's going to look like. Markets are irrational, and markets can be irrational longer than you can be liquid. But if you have this P-wrapped BTC, and it's trading for a discount versus wrapped BTC on Ethereum, so why wouldn't you buy, especially as the AMM bot, fixer bot comes in and changes the liquidity versus Ethereum and wrapped BTC, PWBTC now, and you were to make the right trade and bridge it back over and then make the trade on Ethereum and come back, you could double your Bitcoin. And I mean, not that I would hold that shitcoin anyway, but
if you're going to be like, I can do this trade in 26 minutes and I get to double my bag, like you'll do that until you're not able to double your bag anymore.
Yes, 100%.
And you don't even consider the opposite direction too, because we're talking
I
about
didn't even think about going back.
Because what if you have a copy?
That's where Sam's mind is like going. Like I think he's thinking about the back end of it, because you can only really think about the front end of it. So he knows people are going to have to neglect.
And they're going to miss the other side of it.
The back end,
We're bringing that shit back on, because you're going to have this copy on Pulse. What if somebody's going to bridge this shit back over to Ethereum?
Just numbers.
Have
crazy.
A uni.
Numbers. It's so cool.
I am so excited. I would love
a
delay. I would love a delay so that my refi can go through and I have a lot more liquid capital.
He says, I get why Sam can't sleep at night. On the contrary, Sam probably sleeps better than 99% of the people in the chat, because he focuses on sleep gains. And us bodybuilders love our sleep. We don't. That is our sacred.
That's where you get the repair, man. It's where you need it.
Imagine this, Kinetics, a world where you can go to bed early and comfortably without doing anything reckless at night, and wake up more aggressive and more clear than every single other person who constantly finds a reason to miss sleep, when it's the number one most important thing that a human being can do in this entire world.
Now all you need to do is tell me, but wait, there's more, and then give me a price and a phone number to call. And
no,
I'm
seriously,
it right now.
And
wouldn't it be awesome if you could put on muscle and drop out that?
Yes, exactly.
Like when we're on, like when we do these next fitness challenges after all this stuff goes on, trust me, guys, if you knew the kind of information that we were given, it's a lot easier to give information on a webinar Telegram call than it is on here. You trust me, and we have information that would blow your mind, Kinetics. If you think that we're smart like this, we've been doing that for a decade.
Yeah.
KNTX. I have another
decade.
YouTube channel, which is not linked down below, but I'll share the link, or if Bullish wants to share the link, whatever. Where you know how DeFi is like a tiny fraction of the world, but it's like, holy shit, there's so much cool shit happening over here.
And the opportunity of a lifetime, yeah.
And the fitness community, there's peptides and compounds and things like that in the fitness community that I've been focusing on for a long time that like nobody knows about.
Nobody's talking about.
Nobody's talking about, and it's like really crazy stuff. Like this is
as groundbreaking.
Really?
This is a peptide. This is a peptide that literally reset. This is not my words. This is coming from. I read the research papers on this because I find it fascinating. This is a peptide that resets 1/3 of all human genes by more than 50%. Good genes, it increases the expression, so that's kind of like opening the door, you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
And bad genes, it closes the door. The researchers are saying this, not me.
What is the name of the peptide?
GHKCU. It's already in your body.
CU. Okay.
And none of us are doctors of any sort or professionals.
Yes.
And you should consult with your doctor before you ever make a decision with anything you put into your body.
Yeah.
I've been watching these videos for a long time. Boy.
Yeah.
I got the shticks down, but yeah.
You guys, have you ever used the website that Richard was discussing last Friday on our channel? Which
do you remember what it's called?
I hate to say it was cringe. Yeah, it's examine.com. They look at all of the micro research of all this because I'd love to hear what they have to say too. I don't believe everything you read on the internet, guys. So do your own due diligence outside of just one website.
And research papers are often manipulated for the use of the person funding the research.
Who funded the research?
So you have to understand, guys, even when you're diving into this research, you have to be super open-minded because you have to know who's sponsoring the research. And Sam's done this for a decade. He doesn't even have to look at this shit. But like he knows, like just like immutable. Is it this? Is it that? Is it centralized? Blah, 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 like you do in Hex, in crypto. And then it's the same thing over there, right, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm reading this paper on these compounds called SARMs. And I'm going through and they're talking about a SARM as some type of like hormone replacement therapy for testosterone for the androgen receptor. And you go through in the first like 2 or 3 paragraphs of a research paper, generally they set it up. So they're like, yeah, the current treatment, TRT, has all these issues, boom, 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 boom. And I'm reading through and I was like, damn, these like 7 or 12 researchers who all collaborated either don't know what they're talking about or they're purposely misleading. And by the time I got down to the bottom where if it's a good research paper, they will disclose where the funding comes from.
Yeah.
Not everybody does. But this paper they did disclose. And it's the company who makes the fucking product. Of course they're going to be talking shit about the alternatives. Like it happens. You see it in what's happened with Big Pharma over the last year. You see this stuff happening all the time, all over the place. And a lot of people don't realize this. Like they don't understand.
They realize it, Sam. You know how much effort we put into this?
Politics, guys.
You know how much effort we put into this, Sam? We've dedicated our whole life to searching for the truth because we're entrepreneurial young men. It's just not a position many others are in. Once you have children and families, sometimes the situations just don't, the stars just don't align because you know you have to show up for your family. And you can't always do 8 hours of research. Now, if you set up yourself properly, obviously in the future, you can make that a goal. But as for everyone in the chat, like I think the most important thing to do is like, if you're struggling in any way financially, like you have to get the extra fat off of your life in every single way. Not the body fat, but the people, the things. Mm-hmm. Obviously, kids are locked in. Court papers are locked in. But if you're a young man right now, you don't have to add to the plate. You can successfully learn before you make these life-altering decisions. And as far as we're talking about taxes, everything, today has been really, really helpful to everyone, to myself. This has been one of the best episodes that we've done so far. And I just say that because the fluidness of the conversation and the open-mindedness with the chat. I mean, this is what we need to do. Like me and Sam, we're going to try to change everything here. With the streaming, with the way people interpret information in this arena, because we can punch through a different
and the honesty that you bring into the space.
We don't want money. We don't even care. Yeah, we want to be successful in the future. Duh, we're going to be. Duh. But we care more about this, but that's the exact reason why we'll make so much money.
Oh, absolutely.
We care more about waking up every day. Me and Sam would sit here to the end of time to
100%
figure out
agree
what's
with that.
actually going on and neglect some parts of our lives that maybe we don't find as important. And some people would think, yeah, I need to do this. I need to do that. I have to have kids by this age. I have to do this. And I'm like, I'm putting that on hold for 10 years. I have man work to do for me. And that's just the position that I'm in. And from the men that I was lucky enough to find Richard Hart and all these role models before I had a host of kids and a family. How many people get hitched when they're 20 because their dad was like, it's a good idea, sonny boy.
Yeah.
And they're like,
100%.
okay, like she's cute.
I wanted to ask a quick, and on a little bit of a tangent, to go back to something that you just said very, very casually, that you're kind of like, you're the quarterback for, in terms of creating your own.
I personally am not. I just brought the team together. I am not the quarterback. So.
Isn't that what the quarterback
No, he's
does?
the GM. He's the GM.
That's right.
He's kind of
manager,
like
Sam doesn't know sports, but like a general manager,
I don't pay
NFL,
attention to
Sam
sports.
would be the guy who goes out and gets the squaw.
Yep. 100%.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Well, I don't pay attention to sports at all. I actually imagine just for a second here, and then I want to hear what you're doing with this. Imagine if like all the money that was wasted on sports was like put to something productive in society. Like we're building
we could solve a lot of problems. We could solve a lot.
What about
but it's not as entertaining.
What
So I
about
don't
the
know if it
military
would generate
spending?
that kind of money. Well, 100% there.
The military spending probably dwarfs
I don't know. Do you think?
I do.
I don't know. There's a lot of sports.
Because I know, but how many people work for the sports teams?
Correct. A lot.
I know, but that's good for, you want people to work somewhere.
Yeah, but what if they were doing something productive?
Well, yeah, no one does anything productive.
Well, see, the thing,
no one ever does.
At least sports, here's what I'm going to say. At least sports produces goods and services where the military doesn't. It steals taxpayer money to fund
and it pays contractors to sign papers.
Yes.
In between making imaginary money to send across the world.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I just thank you guys. So
I used to work out with some military contractors, and they're just like, "Yep, just sent the whole little contract over," and it's just like you're like, and they're just like, whoopsie, like sent it over.
That's why I couldn't stay there.
I'm not saying now. I want to be very clear. I'm very pro-military. Family's all military.
Me too.
I thank you guys so much for your service out there. Appreciate you 100%. All. You guys are amazing. Yeah, if you don't have a military, if you don't have the biggest stick on the block, someone that does have the biggest stick on the block is going to go ahead and push you around. So I'm not saying it's something we don't need. I'm just saying it's the problem with government. The problem with government is it's never used wisely. So
we've all been to a government building and walked in.
First might be to like cut like federal spending in terms of not the military necessarily, but like the bureaucracy that is the federal government. Like that should be like cut.
You look, I don't even remember the statistic. I remember seeing the statistic somewhere that on any given government program out there, whether it be military, food stamps, whatever, only like 3 to 5 cents of every dollar actually helps the people that are supposed to be benefited from that money that was spent.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Goodwill and all that shit. I remember my mom was like, pack the stuff up and
brother.
go to Goodwill. I remember back when I was young, I looked up like 2 websites on Goodwill. I'm like, you're getting wrecked.
Yeah.
JR in the comments, I don't know if he's still here, but JR is in the Marines. So like I do appreciate and respect anybody who serves. And I'm not saying that there's any like, especially anybody who's in the police force is with like, especially if you're in New York or California, you have to deal with any of that BS. But completely respect you guys because takes a lot more courage to do that kind of stuff than like what I'm doing. Personally.
Yeah, and I would fight. I would fight for my country, even if I didn't believe what they were doing necessarily. If I had to, bit finesse.
Well, I'd fight for our country to not be communist.
Well, we're fighting.
CCP
right now.
is a good example of that right now. So they're taking over everything and they're winning hearts and minds over here, guys. That's the unfortunate thing. So you have an inroads into media, and you dangle that giant carrot in front of places like the NBA. They go woke on the CCP front, and they don't speak out against the atrocities. And just be aware of those things, guys. Do your own research.
Thank you so much, Bitfinesse, for your support always. You are always rock star level, alpha male, Hexagon hodler.
Yes, he is.
So can you tell us about this banking project?
Yes. So MCA is actually the backbone to this. It's the backbone to everything. It's a backbone to the Hex Investment Trust. HexInvestmentTrust.com, guys. HexInvestmentTrust.com. Any of you guys that are looking to diversify your net worth and or have, especially in my case, I have older boomer parents that don't want to learn how to handle their own keys, but they've got a 401k or an IRA and they want to be able to invest in it. HexInvestmentTrust.com. Get crypto type gains because it's tied to the underlying asset of Hex. That Hex will never be sold as per the trust documents. It is not possible without violation of the trust to ever sell. So we have essentially duplicated the OA, and we know what happens when you tie up the supply and the demand goes up. And by the way, this is at this point in time, it is in the private stage. So it's a 506C offering, must be an accredited investor. Inquire if you're not.
How does one become an accredited
Exactly.
investor?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for T-balling that one up for me. I appreciate that. So we have a firm. We have multiple firms actually that they have fiduciary responsibility. They will not dox you. They will not release your information to anybody else, but they can go ahead and verify your assets and get you guys accredited. Now, in some cases, we just simply can't. Or I shouldn't say me, but because I'm not a CPA and I can't sign off on those things. But we do have teams. Brookhaven Tax out there can do this. So Brookhaven Tax out of Georgia, they're amazing. Then we've also got an AML KYC platform that is processing these to make sure that you're a good actor and follows the Patriot Act and blah, 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 yada, 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 all the fun stuff. But we can help you guys get accredited for those of you who think you are and you're not 100% certain. But
can you... Is that what you mean when you say the banking project thing?
No. So that's actually separate. So we are working at a state level to get a state charter, banking license for hard to bank industries that currently are being neglected by the federal banking cartels. So these states, they're very much loving talking with us because they know that the future, especially the younger, the ones that aren't asking how many digital coins will fit in a duffel bag. The younger politicians understand this is the wave of the future. These protocols are going to change everything. The way that Netflix changed the way we view movies and entertainment is going to be the same thing that DeFi and crypto does to the financial space. It's going to be a bigger disruptor because everything's bottom line comes down to the dollar, the almighty fiat or currency that you use to trade goods and services. So they understand that there's a lot of potential there. They want to be the first crypto-friendly state. The hard part is, and we had a politician tell us this, that laws don't typically come into view or into fruition unless you can name the felon. And that's the problem with crypto, is that it is very hard to pin down who is the person that broke these laws or did somebody wrong and hurt the retail public. So we're working very closely with these guys to help try to curb that argument and bring good actors into their economies. But some of these guys get the point that, hey, there's $2.5 trillion in digital assets right now as a full market cap of this.
It's going up and to the right.
And if you can provide tax benefits and an ecosystem that's legislatively friendly in your state, how much of that money comes to your state?
I'm living in Florida for tax reasons. Well, I love Florida, but also tax reasons is one of those reasons.
I freaking love Santorum. But hey, I'm just going to throw that out there. So I just want to say your state is doing it right. And there's a reason why your economy is still strong while everyone else is struggling. You guys didn't fall for all the nonsense and the sheep acting like sheep over the last 2 years. And you guys get it. You're forward thinking with fiscal policy as well as being very crypto friendly. So.
Yeah.
What state is that? If you want to like let us know what state you're working on.
Wales, tell me if I should let them know, man. So should I tell them what state?
In the chat, active as could be, Wales.
So
great to see all you guys, by the way. Okay.
I will tell you this: it's more than one state. We are actively engaging in more than one state right now. So
that sounds like a fascinating project.
Sam, get your suit and tie ready.
Wales says
We're
no.
going on the
Don't
circuit.
play. Wales says no.
No, I think he was answering a different question. He actually wanted you to tell us what states.
No, he said no. He said no.
So
No, I know. I'm just fucking with him.
So Seth Gersten, I like this. KNTX is the new Bobby Axelrod from Billions. I love that freaking movie. RG calls me Wags. So he calls me Wags on the phone all the time because I've pissed a lot of people off, even within our own community, because I know our value proposition, and I'm not willing to lessen our value for people when we are negotiating. So because we know what we're bringing to the table, so we're unapologetic for knowing our value and not being and knowing that we hold the leverage. So I'm kind of an asshole when it comes to negotiation. So they call me Wags.
I see the point here, but I also see the other side of this because a lot of people think this way. Strategic advantage is to never be given away, right? So I see how a lot of people think about that, but I also see that the community is the most valuable thing out there. And you don't realize that until you start working with the community. And
but we don't want bad actors front running.
No, correct.
We've made a lot of it very soon, guys. We'll be able to tell you a lot more details on these things. Just know that they're being happened. Yeah. And we've talked about this, and Jay and Wales have talked about it on Wales's channel too, that you don't want to destroy these relationships by revealing them before you've courted. You know what I mean? So you want to solidify these things, make sure we're on common ground, make sure we're going to be good business partners together, make sure we have the same goals in mind and that we're aligned on principles and ethics. So, and because you're getting into politics, you got to make sure that the ethics have to stand above all else, guys. If there's one thing that this community is good
guys.
Yeah, you kill me with that every time.
I love it.
How's everyone doing
today? My boy Wales, thanks for coming on, brother.
Oh no,
dude, you're always bringing Wales on right when I gotta go, dude.
Well, dude,
come on.
But you always got to go because why you got to go, bro? We got hex.com, baby.
You need to retire, Sam, if you're not already. I don't know, man.
Man, you got an extra room in the house. You're retired, bro. I'll come in there. I clean the outside. I'm good with the landscaping, all that shit, dude. I'm good at all that. I'm telling you, bro. I'm good at all that shit, dude. And I don't mind doing it too. Put my earbuds in, bro. I fucking get at it too, man. I'm just saying. I'm pitching it to everyone. Everyone's got a spare room in Hexico. I'm always like, you got a spare room, you got a shed, something, anything I could stream in, like.
Yeah, right.
I'm thinking about setting up a separate shop where I set up my studio in like the yard, but set up a separate shed type thing, but make it into like a tiny home, specifically for a studio, because I think that would be a blast. Is that what you have?
That's what I just built. So it's not done yet. So for those of you who knew that I was in insurance and helping do estate planning on the life insurance side for many, many years, and being quarterbacked with the right people, being quarterbacked with the CPA and the tax advisor and the legal structure to make sure it was all set up correctly. That's how I knew this was the right play once these guys came forward and said, we do this for billionaires. So I guess you could say officially retired from insurance. I'm handing over the agent. I'm literally giving all the assets and the intellectual property of the business away, just to step away so I can work on these other things full time. And in the meantime, until this gets done, it's taking contractors are a pain in the butt with all this helicopter money flying around right now. You can't get a contractor because everybody's doing work right now. Everybody's got a new bedroom they're adding or a house they're building or something. But this is a sneak peek of my she shed, as my wife likes to call it, that has been converted into a studio.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm excited for you.
So there you guys go. That's my she shed, as she calls it. So
that's dope, dude. That's awesome that you have a man cave for streaming. You can get away so people aren't running up to you saying whatever they're saying, grabbing your leg or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I literally just had someone from my office must not have known I was on a stream or something. The fact that I was ignoring them while they were in my ear over here was probably enough for them to realize, oh crap, he's busy right now. But they came to set an invoice on my desk, and so I'm almost out.
You've probably thought of the crypto space and how a insurance product could be created in the crypto space, and if you haven't, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yes,
because it's fascinating, right? Because you could create something that's far better, in my opinion, than what's happening.
Yes. So this gets me giddy, dude. The finance nerd in me gets all giddy. I'm like, so once you have a bank and you have a private trust company that is the foundation for that bank, you know what else could happen? It's called an insurance company. And you know what you could really do? In my first stream and a lot of people, sorry, I apologize for those of you who have heard it because I've said it multiple times, but the first stream I ever showed up on in the Hex community was when Captain RG3 just first started the Discourse Syndicate. And we were all during lockdowns, and I was in my office working, no customers because we had all the doors locked because it was the first week or so of the lockdowns. And he says, I want someone to come into the stream right now. Here's the link. That was the first time he ever posted the link. Said, I want you to come in here and I want you to tell me a real world use value for Hex. And I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I'm a freaking insurance. I'm a life insurance estate building guy. So I got on and I said, these life insurance companies have to get yield 3 to 5% on an annual basis, have to offer these premiums they're receiving from people. And these premiums are not small. We're talking the multi-billions in some cases. Some of them have trillions of dollars of assets under management. They have to get a 3 to 5% yield just to beat inflation. Otherwise, they're losing money. They will overpay by billions for these real estate syndication deals so that they can fund this 3 to 5% growth. I said, what happens when they figure out that they can get 20, 40, 60% just by staking it and not having to fix toilets, man?
I've been saying this every day for the last 60 days since I got into crypto. I was like, all these companies searching for a yield, they don't understand what is happening. They don't understand what is happening.
And whales comes from the traditional finance space where, dude, 20% in 1 year is unreal unless there's someone driving tweets that is causing the price to go through the roof because of something they're doing on Twitter that's the SEC thinks is shady. And that's the only way you're getting that kind of yield in the real market. Or I say real market because it's the only one that really exists in the eyes of politics as of yet. So it will change soon. And
so you believe the Hex could be like the foundational piece as the asset that insurance companies actually provide.
Man, Wales, I wish I could tell him some of the things we're doing. So yes, absolutely. I think it could be the not just the foundation, but literally the bedrock below the foundation of what could be built financially in the future.
As you guys move forward, I'm super excited.
Let me help you out, brother. You need to go back and watch my early streams so you can understand what's actually going on now. All of this has been forecasted. We're just executing at this point.
I'm excited to see what you guys are going to build. And when you guys get to the point where you're ready to talk about that in the marketplace,
we'll make all the rounds and you guys seem to get it the best, especially you, Sam. Not saying anything, Jim Rat Crypto.
Sam's my research coach, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just love being able to spitball back and forth, and he knows the concepts we're talking about and can even go into more depth on how those affect the variables around them. But I would love to give you guys, for when we can come out and say these things, even before I come out on my own channel, I will come on here and we'll talk about these things.
You guys heard it here first.
Producer Bullish, book it.
Yes, Monica Moffitt Meals. I am anxious because there's so many good things.
Yeah, let me explain something to everybody. This is the issue. This is a new world that's being built. So we can't be on here talking about what we're doing because we're giving away our competitive advantage, not just because we're doing it, but as a community.
Yeah, we're not worried about Hexicans front running us or being
no.
That's as long as they have the same principles and morals as us, we're cool with that. But there's bad actors that want to front run us, guys.
Right. So our concern is mostly with people out there that are going to try to get in our way from accomplishing our goals, and we can't have that. So strategic advantage is number one priority, not informing you of what you don't need to know because it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, if you know who's talking to you on the screen right now, then you understand what's going on.
I see that as like there's also a strategic advantage on the opposite side of that. I understand that a lot of people go that way, and there's certain people who like don't want to
see it your way.
Things from a relationship.
I see it your way, and
there's a gigantic strategic advantage from the opposite way. But I understand people, there's been done a certain way for a long time. Like people are like, I don't want to be associated with shit. Yeah, completely get that. But I just think that there's a gigantic, like that not enough people are using in the other direction, in like just being 100% like, boom, this is where we're going, because it creates so much value that the community pushes into you that you don't like. You know what I mean?
We do. We totally. That's why we struggle with this, because I want to tell you guys everything.
But
Wales
here's
is
the
always
thing.
like,
Here's the thing, Sam.
KNTX, stop it.
We've already talked about this. It's nothing. We don't have to paint the picture. We've already given you the outline. It's up to you to fill in the color, because what's happening is already what's going to happen. It's just.
But that's like the sack faces that don't have any details,
no,
right?
Yeah.
No.
You know?
No. It's not. Because
I mean, it's just point of view, right? Like
no,
I see this as like a sack
negative,
face without details.
because you're either building or you're just a spectator. So you.
I mean, if I talk to somebody and they don't give me details,
bro,
that's a
you
sack
gotta
face that
understand what's
doesn't have
going
details.
on. When Amazon was being built, Jeff Bezos wasn't telling you shit.
He probably was telling everybody that would listen.
Investors only, bro. They weren't telling you shit because you were not a public. You were
I
not involved.
bet he was telling everybody. Could you imagine how much bigger Amazon would be? Just for a second, play this out mentally. Imagine the size of Amazon's empire if Jeff had a daily vlog talking about his business. It would be fucking way bigger than it is today. No doubt. No doubt.
You think so?
I highly disagree.
Well, I mean,
putting yourself at a disadvantage by putting your thoughts, your future moves, your tactics out there. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
what if someone with way more resources? What if someone with way more? What if I had an amazing idea, me, Jim Ray, and I asked a couple of my friends, I don't have enough economic energy to really capitalize on much of an idea at this moment, right? Now listen, but like if I said this dope idea and KNTX and Wales were like, dude, he can't even play on that. Like, let's just do it.
That's 99% of people. And like Wales is like, hey, have you watched the videos? No, like I don't have time. I have other I don't watch anybody else's shit. Like I don't watch anybody else's shit.
But that's because you're studying in your free time. If you weren't studying in your free time, you would just be watching stuff and doing whatever else you were doing.
So here, like to the Wales's point, right? He's like, oh, somebody else is going to steal my shit. Bro, the people who are going to steal your shit are not going to be watching. Like they're doing their own thing. Like I have no idea what you're talking about because I don't watch your shit, but I also don't watch anybody else's.
I think there's just a lot of variables to this that are
I highly disagree because you don't know who's
impossible to
watching.
quantify.
Time out. You don't know who's watching. To assume that the person that is watching is not the person that's going to take action is foolish. Period.
Well, you just have to look at reality.
Yet reality is keeping your cards close to your chest, so you always have the competitive
There's a
advantage.
reason
Everybody has like a different point of view.
Yeah, but Sam,
Let's play
think about
poker,
this.
Sam, and give me your freaking deck while you're at it.
And then
Thanks.
tell me what
Fuck
cards
outta
you
here,
hold.
bro.
when
Shit
we
makes no
play.
sense, man. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I wouldn't spill my beans. To be honest, naturally, I wouldn't spill my beans with these guys.
Let's
Makes no
guys
sense, man.
in
I'm
general,
sorry.
not
I
these
just
two.
disagree. Yeah, it makes
But
no
like,
sense.
not these two, but like in general, if I had an
Yeah.
idea in the position that I'm in right now, I would have to keep it close to my chest, in my opinion.
Well,
Yeah.
think about
We
people,
feel that way too.
right? There's a large quantity of people in the world, right? You can share the best idea in the world with these people. There's only a tiny, teensy, itty bitty portion of the people in the world that are executors. And
That's true.
when you go through and when you share information, there's a dialogue. And if it's a pre-recorded thing, cool. Then you get dialogue in the sense of like people DMing you or comments, which allows you to flesh out that idea so it's even better, right, going forward. But there's only a teeny portion of the population that's ever going to execute on something.
You know, it's a really good example of not giving away all the alpha and succeeding is building Hex. Richard Hart built Hex and then released it. He didn't tell people along the way, here's what we're building and here's how we're going to change that. So I think that's a real world example of not telegraphing your moves too early, but still creating excitement within the community that you're building.
Sam, do you know how many copycat hexes there are? Do you know how many?
But what the other side is like, what would have happened if he did share what he was doing? Right?
Maybe we would have a number. I mean, how can you do better than number 3 market cap best asset ever created?
It's not number 3, but like the point,
Yes,
it could be number 1.
The market cap, it is number 3.
Well, you have to in terms of your mind or in terms of like the reality of the world?
If you take two numbers
Sam,
and
time out.
multiply them.
Sam, we're gonna stop you right here. Hold on,
multiplied
Jimmy.
together.
I got you. We're gonna stop you right here. What's the definition of market cap?
Two numbers
Well,
multiplied by each
here's
other.
here's the thing. When we talk about market
We
cap,
need
are
the
you
definition
talking,
of market cap, sir. That's all
when
we're
you,
asking for here.
so what are you? I'm going to ask you a question to clarify what you're asking. When you're talking about market cap, are you talking about the market cap that you define of some numbers that you choose, or are you talking about the market cap that the broader market chooses as a market cap? Because they're going to be different, and in that nuance is what we're talking about.
I'm talking
And
about
if you don't
circulating,
see that,
actual circulating
if you don't
supply.
see that,
I'm talking
if
about
you don't see
actual
that-
circulating supply, and the actual circulating supply puts Hex right below Ethereum.
So
fact,
are
not an
you're
opinion.
talking about your definition is different.
No,
than
I am
the
talking
market.
the actual definition, Sam, not the one that you want to make up on like right now. The actual definition.
So you're living in a different world, whether
Than
you
who?
recognize it or not.
Then who? Then who though? Sam,
Then
then who?
Sam,
go.
I'm gonna ask you this
Listen.
No, I want to know.
Go
I want to
to-
know this. I want to know this, Sam.
Now you're
Who
just
is he
wrong.
living in a different reality then?
Go. So let's take the top 10 coin ranking market cap sites.
Why do you think a coin market cap site matters? Because it doesn't. A
I'll
coin
get
ranking
to
site actually doesn't
I'll
matter.
get to the point. I'll get to the point in a second, and then you can see.
Crypto, that's
So
actually
look at
that's
reality. Look at reality.
The reality is that a coin ranking site is a marketing tool. It is not a tool for investors to make money from. Sam, you're new. You need to understand that.
So, bro, like it's so obvious, and that you're not seeing this. Where do
So what
noobs
does
go?
that tell you,
Where
bro?
do
That tells you
noobs
that Hex
go?
is being
Bro,
caked
where
up.
do noobs go? Where do noobs go? Where do noobs go? They go to these fucking
wherever
sites
they
that you
end up,
understand
bro.
are trash.
They go to wherever they end up. You don't know where they go.
There's a boatload of traffic that goes to these sites. What does
Okay,
that
sure.
mean? What does that mean in those people's eyes?
We've
In
also
your eyes
seen
is
sites
different.
get listed. We've seen coins get listed that get wrecked,
Means nothing, man.
ruined, destroyed
Correct.
forever.
That's what those
Once
sites
they
are
got-
for.
I know
It
coins that
means
got listed
nothing.
on Coinbase, and that was the last day they survived.
What you want to understand is that your definition of whatever you want to define as market cap,
Bro, it's
Can
the
be-
definition.
can be
Nobody
different.
here is changing it but you.
This is it. The
Can
you're
be
right.
different.
I agree with him. The market cap is multiply the number of shares by the value of each share.
Okay,
If I
so-
came
so-
out with a Scott off it, oh Jesus! If I came out with a
I'll be back, guys. I gotta get a delivery. Be right back.
okay, if I came out with a coin and it had KNTX bought $1 of it and I had 1 million of it, what would it be worth?
$1. Well, it'd be $1 million market cap.
The market cap would be 1 million. And I could post it. I just went on Deck Screener. RuneScape coin was on there for 426 billion market cap.
So here's the thing. What definition is correct? The one that you want to purport or the one that society believes? The one that like Wales is trying to say, like he's like saying that this is the market cap, the same thing that you're saying, right, GRC? So yes, I'm not saying that what you guys believe is incorrect. That is what you guys believe. That is not necessarily what the rest of the marketplace believes. And if you don't see that nuance, like what am I? I'm like trying to show you.
I just think they're getting fooled in a direction. They're just being led to death.
Which could be true. That doesn't mean like look at half the fucking population over the last 2 years.
All I see
leaving the propaganda that comes out of the media
all day long. I see 99% of people broke, ruined, destroyed. Why? Because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. What are they looking at? Coin market cap.
So okay, cool. Now we're getting somewhere. Now you need to go through and change that. And just instead of trying to call them idiots, if you're trying to get somebody to understand your point of view, you need to understand how they think.
Well, why can't we just make the market cap site? It's easier, Sam.
If that's what you want, but then you got to get traffic to the site.
Yeah, we can. Dude, have you seen what we're doing here?
What?
Have you seen a community like this in your entire life?
Why hasn't
I quit my job 60 days ago with no income to start doing this because this is the greatest entrepreneurial opportunity that I've ever seen in my life.
This Hexboy highlights this perfectly. The definition in your mind and in Whale's mind is different, just like your goals are different than KNTX, that are different than mine. The definition in the broader marketplace is different than what his is and yours are. That's it. If people can't understand the fucking nuance around that, like you have to be pretty fucking dense. Like, it's just reality. Like, the same thing happens with fitness.
Yeah,
dude.
it's reality, but I just yeah, like I understand what you're saying from the social perspective. Like it's clear, like we understand, but at the same time, all we're doing is winning and everyone else is losing. So we really don't care because we're gonna have so much fucking money in
I
5
agree.
years that
I
we will
agree.
make the rules.
I
Period.
agree. But there's that nuance where we need to bridge that gap between those two things so that we can understand how those other people are thinking to bring them on board.
That's why we have these streamers, man. It's education. It's education.
Yes.
And I like your crossover between the fitness industry and bringing crypto or bringing the crypto to the weightlifting community. I think that's great. I think that's what we need to do. So I want to throw this out here right now, guys. So I will be at the Collective from the 12th to the 15th with Funding Jim, Gary. I am going to be, it's my turn. So RG3 captain has got to meet these guys several times. I get to meet Robert Kiyosaki, Ken McElroy, George Gammon, Rollo Tomasi. Get to meet all these guys. It's my turn to meet these guys. So I'm going to roll in and be doing some networking because here's the deal. MCA, going back to MCA, since this is originally what it started at, MCA is a tool to onboard those people too, guys. So it's not just a way for Hexicans to and Poseidons to responsibly cash out and set up another stream of income where they don't have to sell crypto in the future and then protect their assets and take tax benefits and things of that nature too. But it's also a way for us to help the money flow back into. Yes, thank you. MountainCryptoAdvisors.com. It's help the wealthy come into crypto because these guys get it. They've seen so many scams, and the only thing that they feel comfortable talking about right now is Bitcoin. But we know you don't see Ray Kurzweil, the technologist, talking about VCR tapes anymore. So we need to evolve, and we need to evolve within that personal finance space. So while you guys are talking to the weightlifting crowd, and you guys can talk that speak, you know that industry inside and out. And I'm a recreational lifter, and for health purposes, I'm not into it the way you guys do. I don't have that knowledge, but I do have an interest and I do have a knowledge in the legacy finance space with the personal finance side that I need to be branching out to those guys. Those of you who are into cars, you need to be wrapping your cars and getting in front of the guys that build custom cars on YouTube and have millions of followers. Those of you who like watches, those of you guys, there's different industries where there's money and there's moneyed interests that we need to be reaching out to with this newfound education so that we can change that.
I've been trying to get to this guy. I've been trying to get to this guy for about a month now. He's got 590,000 Instagram followers. He has one of the biggest grassroots fitness communities. He kind of wanted me to do his affiliate program. I was talking to his affiliates. I didn't really want to do it. I just wanted to talk to him.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like doing all and I was like, look at my site. And I've gotten a few responses, but as we get bigger, it's just like, I'm just going to keep spamming him. So
yep.
KNTX, when I love your point. And how do you get those people in legacy? You have to understand how they think, right?
100%. Yes.
So KNTX understands you have to understand how the other person talks, how they think, the vernacular they use in order to be able to connect with them. That means that their definitions on shit is going to be different than your definitions of shit.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that you're wrong and they're right. They just have different definitions. And in those subtle details is where the gold is. Because you can't connect with somebody unless you're like talking the same language. If somebody tries to come up and talk to me in Mandarin, I don't know what that means.
Don't know what you're saying, or what they're saying. Absolutely.
Bullish says if anyone has hobbies but needs content creation ideas, reach out to me. I can help you.
Bullish is solid. It's the first time I've ever heard his voice. Honestly, was in the green room.
Bullish, get your butt on here right now and say what's up.
But he's solid. He is a solid dude. I've seen him in the chats for a long time. I know the guy's solid. So listen for any kind of advice that Bullish OX can give you to help create content and bring more people back into crypto. So
I appreciate those kind words, and to just add on to your sentiment, that was one of the reasons I was so behind like Sam and Gym Rat, because they have a niche, just like you said, in the fitness community. And the fitness community, because I have some prior experience working with females in the fitness community. I understand the impact that it has, because one thing about people in fitness is that they're disciplined. Once they get into it, they're disciplined. And that's 100%. The best audience you can get. That's the best audience you can get to activate on either actions
Smart.
or monetary, you know, whatever it is. But you can get people in the fitness community to take action because they're already accustomed to taking action.
Yep.
So those are one of the reasons. And, you know, I've been working with a few people behind the scenes. So thank you for that. But like literally anyone who has a current hobby, I don't care what it is, video games, you're into streaming, you're a webcam girl, I don't care what it is. If you have a hobby, there is a way to onboard people and to tap into
If
that.
you're a
niche
webcam
market.
girl, just bypass him straight to the gym rat. I get into I'm the middleman for that. It's inside stuff, girls. You know?
And there's a way to essentially tap into that niche audience and use that as a way to onboard people onto crypto the same way that Sam and Jim are doing every day.
Well, dude, you align your principles, you align your goals, you align your knowledge, and you want the same things in life. It's once you guys connect with someone in the niche or the hobby that you're already into, then the rest is easy because you can build a relationship off of that, a relationship of trust, and then you can show them, hey, look, there's something better over here. You know that thing that you're doing, that's cool, but check this out over here.
Yes. KNTX, Whales, Bullish. Bullish is awesome, by the way. Like 100% agree with that. You're awesome, dude. Appreciate all the help with everything behind the scenes. I know GRC also mentions that to me when we're just talking without you on the line, how much he appreciates the help with everything. So yes, definitely give us a bicep in the chat for Bullish. I have to run. KNTX, it's been awesome chatting. I love what you guys are doing. This is awesome. I wish you guys tons and tons of success. This is fantastic. Whales, thanks for coming on, brother. I know we butt heads, but I think a lot of people enjoy that. So thank you for that awesome content. GRC, we will talk soon. If you guys enjoyed the content, jump down below. There's a link there for Twitter. I'm having a contest with Molly. And Molly actually mentioned that if I get more followers than him, by the end of the fitness challenge, get 50,000 hacks. I got to clarify if that's e-hacks because then that'll be a copy. A pulse chain, it can be 100,000 hacks. So if you want to help me, right, it's basically David versus Goliath, right? Yeah. 14,000 versus 2,600, right? Like David versus Goliath. The only way I have a chance of beating him is with your guys' help. So if you want to help out, if you enjoy this, jump down below, tag me, follow, appreciate the help. Appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace out, bye-bye.
Peace out, guys. Soon enough, Sam. No worries.
Yes, sir. Good chat with you, brother.
Mm-hmm. Since you invited me up, let me take this opportunity to do some shameless plugs. So, guys, just a reminder, whenever it is that Pulse Chain launches, whatever day, whatever time, keep in mind we have a 24-hour live stream coming up whenever that happens. 24 hours. Everyone's invited. You can hop on. You can hop off. We're going to be talking about Pulse Chain. We're going to be talking about PulseX.
Love it.
What people are doing, strategy, the whole 9 yards. So don't forget, just keep in mind, whenever that happens, tune in to Crypto in the Morning, Crypto in the Evening, whatever time that ends up being, and tune in for that. And also remember, we have a crypto fitness challenge going on right now. So I'm just going to run this promo just to like reset the room a little bit and continue the conversation.
Love it. That's badass. Hey, GRC, can you pull up Ross Hex's comment? He cracks me up. Oh, that's stinky.
I went into my lair for a few minutes.
So I think this is the best way for him to win.
Sorry,
everybody to unfollow Motley.
Yeah, I'm always telling Sam, I'm like, do you realize that everyone here follows Motley? And he's like, yeah, we're gonna have to get him to unfollow Motley somehow. And I'm like,
yeah, that's pretty funny.
I love it.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about what can, and Wales is going to love this. What can legislation do? Not us necessarily. Like, right? Like, what is possible for them? Like, if they wanted to, if they wanted to nuke or try or do whatever they could to mess up the legislation within crypto, how far can they go?
You want to take that, or you want me to take it?
Well, you sounded like you were already on it, so I apologize. I was just waiting on you.
No worries. They can't do much, right? It depends, and this is the problem that Sam actually has. He doesn't realize that when you're walking into a room, when we go to college, we don't go to college with our thoughts and think that they are the ones that matter, right? No, they don't fucking matter. When you go to grad school, what you learn in college doesn't fucking matter. You better know something that you learned from college, but when you get to that next level, you got to acquiesce to how they do things. It's not what you want to do, but what's happening. What's happening is that you have all these bad actors thinking that they can come and change the definition of words. That's what's literally happening within the Promise Coin space. So what does that mean? Well, the noobs are coming in and they're finding the bullshit. That's what they're finding. They're not finding the right education. They're finding the bullshit. So guess what? It's on us to rectify that. It's not on us to find quote unquote common ground. There's no common ground there to be had because they're being misinformed.
Well, they're believing it.
They're being misinformed. It doesn't matter that they believe it. They're being misinformed.
Yeah, you're right.
What happens?
You're right.
They get fucking wrecked.
It's right in their face.
That's what happens. Just like you were saying. Look at all those coins where these people get wrecked and they're the ones put on the coin ranking sites. So again, that's not the solution. The solution is educating people the right way. Why does crypto exist in the first place? It's clear to me that Sam does not even know that. And that's the problem. You got to know what's going on here. You don't come in here with your thoughts and think that they're correct because that's not what's going on here. Everybody has to come here and learn what the hell is going on here. Just like I had to. Richard had to. Everybody has to.
It's just very intimate detail. It's very intimate.
That's the name of the game. Learn what the hell is going on or get left behind. Because what happens? People invest in hex copycat coins and they get wrecked. That's what happens.
And I wanted to highlight that too, because I don't mention the copycat coins by name necessarily.
Me too. Everybody knows they exist.
Yeah, I just, I didn't know how much people know. I do my digging and my due diligence.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't mention them because we don't want people looking at them, right? We don't want people getting wrecked. And this is why we use the correct terminology, not the incorrect terminology. We want people learning the right things because how do we onboard people into crypto? Because crypto does not exist outside of our ecosystem. And that's another thing that most people do not grasp. It's a very, very nuanced reality, but that's a fact. Just because others do not perceive it as such does not make it true. So the reality is that the diplomacy only works when two sides are willing to hear each other, not just one. So we're already here. We're already ahead of the game. Everybody has to catch up to us. We don't have to go down to their level. That's wrong.
It's great. That feels great though, Wales, doesn't it? Come on.
Hey, man. But this is the point. You either swim or you sink.
It feels so good, man.
I had to swim. Everybody has this. Look at you. You're doing it in real time. Now, and here's the thing you got to understand. The majority of the community already understands all the things that are being relayed. A lot of people are entering now and they're being new. They're new people. It's on you, new streamers, to inform them correctly, not misinform them. And that's the problem I have with Sam's approach. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. There's something wrong with staying ignorant, though. And
there's a couple concepts. There's a couple concepts that Hexicans know, like breathing, and because we've been told over and over again, and it's just the way the facts. It just happens to be the facts, but we've also been told over and over again.
Nobody's bending on market cap over here. We had a big issue with that. That's never going to change. Market cap is market cap. Nobody can change that.
I totally agree with the market cap point. I don't care when anyone says, Richard said it, it's the truth. These sites are absolutely corrupt.
Yes.
To the core.
They're funneling sites, man. They're telemarketing funnel. They're basically telemarketing funneling sites now, just for crypto.
People are so stupid, Wales.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
all.
why don't they just be like, I want to succeed, so maybe I should bypass this information? Like,
let me go right into
let
me go right into Reg City again. That's what people opt to do instead. And then people try to justify that, and that's the problem. We cannot continue to justify that shit. Because what happens? People are coming into this space with their whole fucking life savings or whatever little bit that they have, because it's 2022 and the dollar is worth nothing. I mean, everybody's walking the high wire financially right now. If they're not in crypto, that's what they're doing. And they don't know it.
Biden said yesterday that it was a great time to be a consumer. Live.
Sure it is.
In other words, we need you guys to spend your money and stop saving it because our GDP is shit right now. That's what that means.
No, this is what this exact verbiage. The citizens are in a good position. Like the consumers are in a very good position right now. And I was just like, dude.
Yeah, because you got to know what their plan is.
They need government spending. They need spending. They need GDP to go up because they've got midterms coming up and they need to look good on the economic scale, because that sways political opinion more than anything. Is how well are you able to put food on the table and keep the roof over your kids' heads? That's really what people vote for when they go. The people that actually do participate in the voting system, not the dead people that vote on the Democrat ticket, but the actual people that care about voting. That's what happens is the economy strong or not? And they need that GDP to go up. And it's like, Biden, how disconnected from reality are you that you would say that? Because I get what you're trying to do and what you're trying to stimulate, but inflation is a son of a gun. Nothing is affordable right now. So nobody's in an actual good position to be spending anything right now.
Everyone's hiding in their fucking houses.
Yes.
You fucking retard old dude.
Yeah.
Dumb fuck. I'm hiding in my house because every time I leave, you take my money.
Yep.
So I have to, because I have to position myself now or I'm in trouble.
Yep.
Period.
Yep. Now why is this happening? Right? This is the thing that nobody wants to address. And this is my biggest issue. This is what I am literally addressing every time I open my mouth. This is happening because people are uneducated with respect to money. They are uneducated with respect to vocabulary because they don't even understand that inflation is a tax. And yet they're here listening to some clown tell them that they're positioned accordingly to spend their money. No, you don't even understand what he's telling you. What he's telling you is that you're wrecked, and that's exactly what he wanted. That's what he intended. And in fact, he's been saying it since he got into office. What's the first thing that he did? Shut down crude oil pipelines.
Yeah.
First thing. And initiated inflation. He pulled the ripcord on it. Because up until that point in time, the U.S. was what? Energy independent.
Yep.
As soon as he shut those pipelines down, what happened? Well, we had to import petroleum products.
From someone we're supposedly supposed to have sanctions on right now.
Just one of the many players, right? But again,
this conversation has digressed from MCA, and I got a lot of stuff that I got to do. So you guys, I love these macroeconomics talks, but man, we got some big contracts to put into place today. So I gotta get to work.
Got work that we gotta do.
I got some real work I gotta get
guys,
done. Well,
I'm going to end the show here, but this absolutely been jam-packed with good stuff. Guys, we got a lot of good stuff going on, and I promise you two, whatever you're doing, I'm here for you, and I'm going to push as hard as I can doing what I'm doing, as hard as I possibly can.
I appreciate everything you're doing, man. This is awesome. I love your stream. I love your positivity. I love the way that you just are able to bring everybody in the community together, regardless of how decisive and how much they can fight amongst each other on just small things. And because honestly, a lot of these things don't matter. And we can argue the tax code and we can argue about loans and all that. The fact is we're on the same team and we really want the same things. We're all advocating for the freedom that can be provided to humanity through crypto and the relationship between man and its government, how it can be changed. So we all want those same things, guys. So I appreciate you being the I don't know which would be the right
voice, man.
You're the magnet, man. You're the magnet.
This is what I've done in my own life. I never had I never had education. I never had anything. I learned how to deal with people. I learned
That's a skill.
I learned how to survive as a 5'8", 128-pound male in an environment that was not horrible, but you know what I mean? Like I had to make it happen.
Yep.
I just had to stay up. You know what I mean? Like
Live.
What up, Willie?
Well, before you sign off, I want to give you your flowers, Kinetic. I've been asking questions. You know what I'm talking about. But, I want to give you your flowers because you too, you're part of this as well. But I want to give you your flowers because all week, and Jim Rat knows, all week I've been asking the questions regarding crypto loans and tax implications and stuff like that because, you know, like I'm a firm believer. I feel it coming, so I'm trying to prepare. And in one sentence, you answered all my questions, basically. So I want to
thanks, man.
I want to thank you for that. I know this is the first time we're meeting. And Wales, I know we have a lot of green room talk. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing on the legacy side. You're helping everyone pump their bags, and no one should take that for granted. No one should take that for granted.
I'm jacked up like a spider monkey, guys.
Love it.
Well, thank you so much. Kinetics, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Always a pleasure.
It's going to be a beautiful. I think we're going to win this, guys. I really do. I think we're going to win this. It's going to be absolutely legit.
We are.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you guys something before we go. I am not giving people a choice. That's why I do not ever submit to misinformation. I don't care what the reason is. End of discussion.
Guys, have a wonderful day. Wales done told you.